The show that everyone waits for after an Eagles Sunday and the most anticipated show in Philadelphia sports talk is right here on JAKIB. And we appreciate all of you that come aboard every single week, and especially on a Monday like this. Super Chats go to the top. Please hit the like button. Make no mistake about it. We got a lot to get into. Coach Jason Brown, how you doing? Our guy will be with us at 3:30. Gary Cobb will be with us at 4:30. Big Z will close the shop up for us and be our Mariano Rivera. And we will get him at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk some football and what the last 24 hours has transpired. There's been some news, obviously, with Lane Johnson. We'll get to that, but let me first start it off with this. Man, I'll tell you what, man, that defensive football team is fast. It's great. It is by far ahead of schedule with all the pieces. And I've got to give Howie a lot of credit here for this. All those shitty signs that he made, every single one of those shitty signs in that entire offseason can be erased with the addition of Jalen Phillips. There's no doubt two guys have energized that defense. And that's Nakobe Dean being put back in the starting lineup and also Jalen Phillips being added to the defensive front seven. I thought he had a fucking great game against Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell, by the end of the game, had to be thinking, who the hell is that guy? That was a hell of a job. The entire defense, there's really no negatives that you could say about anybody. The two tackles played great. Jalen Hunt has benefited, as we said he would, incredibly. More so than even Nolan Smith. And he's taking the baton, and I feel pretty good moving forward. That your guys, potentially, at edge are going to be Jalen Phillips and Jalen Hunt. That looks pretty damn enticing. Also, your future at linebacker just may be Nakobe Dean and Jihad Campbell. $200 million offense versus our Timu defense. Something has to change in the offseason. I know what you're talking about. And again, $200 million offense and your Timu defense getting it done, it is night and day. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, dude, you are exceptionally excited about the little money that you're spending in your future on the defensive side. Vic Fangio has done one whale of a job with that defensive football team. I mean, they made Jared Goff, one of the most proficient quarterbacks in all of pro football, look like he was a scrub. That just was great defensive football. There is no doubt about it. We will definitely get more into it. Now, let's get into the offense. It is by far the most overrated and overhyped and underproducing offensive football team in pro football today. There is no other team in the NFL right now that is overpaid and overrated more so than the Philadelphia Eagle offense. It's overrated. It's overhyped. It is whatever you want, an adjective that you want to put on it. It fucking sucks. Your quarterback is a train wreck in the passing game. He's terrible. Terrible. All the things that look good on the defensive side, your fucking quarterback sucks in the pocket. He's terrible. He's terrible. And guess what? I don't really have to say it. All you have to use your brains. Fucking terrible. Awful. It is a train wreck offense. Of all the contending offenses in pro football, you have the most overrated offense in the National Football League. And it ain't close. Coaching makes a difference. This is what happens when you have an incompetent coaches on one side of the ball. And that fucking dumbass coach of yours on 4th down to give the Lions 3 points. What a train wreck dude. 2 games in a row, you shit the bed in the last minute of the ball game. What are you thinking, guy? He is such a bad coach. You talk about getting carried around and the caboose. He is the ultimate caboose. Okay? You're confused. I'm fucking confused too, Prince. And how you can fucking go and be a train wreck coach like that. I am confused myself. Punt the ball, dude. What a train wreck. There is no doubt. The quarterback sucks in the pocket. And there's no continuity in the passing game. It's a train wreck. I'm with you, Prince. I'm fucking confused. That offense is just terrible. How in the world? By the way, what's your excuses for being shitty? What's your excuses for being shitty in in-game situation in coaching and your offense shitting the bed? Big Sills, they targeted AJ 11 times. He got less than 50 yards and got no separation. We're going to get into all this. By the way, I don't know about you. How come when Tank Bigsby got in the game, he looked like he had a bolt of energy? When Barkley gets in the game, he looks like a ballerina dancer. I mean, this guy's like tiptoeing around in the backfield. Hit the fucking hole. Hit the hole, guy. What are you waiting for? I mean, dude, we're going to get to it. We're also going to get to Lane Johnson. What a fucking... Dude, what are you waiting for? Barkley, you guys told me he was going to be a 2K rusher again. He'll be lucky to get $1,000. By the way, I don't know if Barkley's going to make the rest of the year. That guy is running out of gas. And he's doing it right in front of you. Excuses for O-line will be injuries. I'm worried there are deeper issues here. Oh, we'll get to Jalen Hurts and his lack of leadership, what people are saying in the locker room about him. Dude, there's so much shit to get to here. So much. Now, I'm also going to put this out there for Howie. Hey, guys, what might turn out to be one of the most important moves also that Roseman made was going and trading for Fred Johnson again and getting Fred Johnson up from Jacksonville. That just may turn out to be one of the biggest moves that Howie's made. Hey, he should have been never let to walk out the building. I get that. But reacquiring him again and getting Fred did really great a year ago, right? He had 6 games, 4 for Mulata, 2 for Lane. And that guy was instrumental in helping with no drop-off. That just may be a big move. We'll see by the end of the year how he plays. But that just may be one of the biggest acquisitions or reacquisitions by Howie Roseman in getting Fred Johnson back. Because if you don't get Fred back, you don't really have anybody to walk in there and give you good football and good tape on film. All right? I mean, crazy. But that may work out to be an important move. Well, Jared Goff is such a fraud. That's such a shitty. Then Jalen Hurts is a fucking fraud too, because he blew too. Hurts sucked out loud last night. And quite frankly, his passing offense is fucking fraudulent. So when you say Goff is a fraud, guy, Jared Goff is not a fraud. He went up against a really great defense. Really a great defense. Hurts is a fucking caboose. As a passer in this league, he's limited. Limited. The coaching staff is limited. And the philosophy is even more limited. Now, this may be a little harsh for some of you. Okay? I'm blaming the organization on Lane Johnson's injury. Why would I blame the organization on Lane Johnson? The organization is at fault for Lane Johnson's injury. Says no way. Why would I put that almost all on the organization? Why? Okay. So let's dissect it. And you tell me, Prince, everyone, you tell me if you subscribe to this. Okay. You're getting your asses kicked on 4th and 1 now. It's not happening. Right? Landon Dickerson's hurt. Cam Jurgens left the game last night. Micaiah Becton is hurt in Los Angeles. And Lane's going to be out 4 to 6 with a Liz Frank injury. Running the tush push and that style of play that they had for the last 3-4 years, especially a year ago, running the ball and being so one-dimensional, it's taking its toll on that O-line. And Barkley. Am I wrong? How would I be wrong in that? Because you're not balanced and because you can't throw the ball to save your fucking life. Okay? And because you can't say anything negative about this, let's go. You can't dispute this. Almost every single offensive line guy that plays on that Eagle line is banged up and missed time. Barkley looks like a shell of himself. And Lane Johnson's out 4 to 6. You tell me. What would you blame that on? And for an organization that believes in health, tell me I'm wrong. Because they can't throw the fucking football. Because they can't throw the ball. And because they have to be so one-dimensional, it's finally taken its toll on this football team. By the way, war of attrition is a real thing. Your 8-2 record, you're going to go into football games over the next month without Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson. That you're going into those games without 2 of your offensive line and a running back who I keep asking Xander Krause every fucking week, hey, do you think there's something wrong with Barkley? You can't dispute it anymore. You can't dispute it. You just can't dispute this. Why can't Nick check Jalen if he's doing what D. Gunn is saying is true about people in the organization? Nick got to actually be a head coach because he's not a fucking head coach. This guy doesn't have a culture. His culture is getting on the knees to the organization and doing what they want. He's not a fucking coach. He is a mouthpiece for the organization. It's not a coach. The offensive line has been decimated because of style of play. Tell me I'm wrong. Sills, you are absolutely right about the offense, but put it in proper context. Detroit isn't a pushover team. I'm not. No. And the coaching is predictable. Dude, no way. I'm not telling you that wasn't a good win. No, at all not. At all. Look at this fucking douchebag. How many people like the fourth down fucking play at the end of the ball game with that dickhead, Nick Sirianni? How many people like that call? Anybody in here thought that was smart to do? Now I know the players last week were lying for Nick. This guy is a fucking knee dragger for the Eagles, man. He can't admit it. His coach blows. He is a knee dragger. For Christmas, all I want, M. Reyes, is knee pads that got Howie's signature on it and a binky with Nick's face on it. That's my guy. And a blow-up doll he can lay in bed with Jalen that's got 8 and fucking 2 on it. Was it the tush-push, the Sirianni idea? Hey, seems like everything's a Sirianni idea except shutting down the fucking bullshit that's going on every week. I'll tell you, man, you got to love M. Reyes. He'll always bring not good content to the show with his bullshit, ass-kissing, knee-dragging, eagle-glazing, donut-loving fucking takes. I love them! You know that this guy, seriously, you know this guy, he's got a tramp stamp with the eagle bird on the back. And you know what he's got? He's got Nick's name right in the middle of it, right? A tramp stamp, you know, like them chicks got. He's got a tramp stamp. Every woman that's in here that watches the program would look at him and call him feminine. Mr. Feminine. All the people saying we're 8-2 make me laugh. We're trying to win a day. There you go. Now you're thinking bigger. Anybody who thinks 8-2 is a loser. You should be thinking Super Bowl. There you go. Slamming. That's exactly right. That's the kind of attitude that I respect. Not the fucking idiots that post 8-2. Gives a shit. You should be talking about Super Bowl number 3. Not 8-2. Losers talk like that. Hey, we're 8-2. You ain't better than the Broncos, according to you. According to you, you're not. Hey, Denver just beat the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl. They beat Kansas City, and they beat the Eagles. Oh, they're not better than us. Oh, okay. So that metric only works for you. Okay, that metric only works for you, right? Talk about people who are glazed donuts. How you doing? Every idea of Sirianni's like Uncle Junior. It turns to shit. Bobby, get the car. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, once again, man, let's talk some good shit about the Birds. That fucking defense is great. Vic Fangio is going to go down like Buddy Ryan and Bud Carson and Dick LeBeau, guys like that. I mean, he is just a savant. His in-game situational pressure, he had golf rattled. Dan Campbell had no chance in that game. I mean, by the end of the game, Dan Campbell dropped his hands. He punted. When he punted, I knew he surrendered. I knew he surrendered. He had been going. Get this. Here's the stupid shit, too, with Dan Campbell. Bro, I get being aggressive. If you were 0-4 on fourth down, if you kick those field goals, you win. You win the game. It's bad, windy weather. Offenses were doing shit. Both quarterbacks blew out loud. Take the fucking points. You win the game. I mean, hey, Sean McVay, too conservative in the end. Dan Campbell, too conservative in the beginning. Not very good coaching. Not very good situational thinking by Dan Campbell. Nick has to be over the quarterback. If he's not, got to go. Bro, he can't control. Now let's get to Jalen Hurts here. Oh, wait. Lane Johnson's injury. Let me fucking type that up here, too. Eagles without Lane. Let me take a look at that. Eagles without Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson. Record. So the Eagles are 15-23 without Lane. And they're 96-41 with him. Lane not being on the field is what on a scale of 1 to 10? What do you think? Me personally, I think it's a 7. 4 to 6 weeks. Okay? War of attrition. War of attrition. Get this. Look at these dicks. 5, 4. I just told you, you guys are 15-23 without the guy. A 5. How imbecilic are you? I mean, imbeciles. I think it's a 7. I think it's a pretty big deal. And if Cam can't go, now you're talking Cam and Lane. Not good. And you got the Cowboys this week. Okay? Listen, you're going to go like this. We're going to kill the Cowboys defensively. Well, if you can't move, surely you're going to be able to move the ball against that shitty Cowboy defense, even though you couldn't move it against the Giants in game 1. Surely you're going to. There's no more fucking excuses for your offense. Your offense is terrible. It's terrible. I mean, it's the worst offense of any contending football team in the NFL right now. It is. Okay? I mean, it's just terrible. No doubt. Your offense is a liability. It's a liability. Cherry pick stats? Did you watch the fucking game? I haven't even gone to the numbers yet. Oh, I see, senor. When wins matter, when you talk about Hurts, but when I say wins matter, when Lane's out there, it doesn't matter. You guys are glazed donuts. Guys like Senor and Emre, they're glazed donuts. Here, once again, outgained. Eagles. What were they on third down? Eagles, once again, awful on third down. 4-15. Not that the Lions and the Eagle defense, this was two great defensive football teams. I think the Lions defense was great too. Eagles 0 for 1 on fourth down. Lions 0 for 5. Total yards, Lions 317. The Eagles 272. But this one, even better. 124 yards passing with net passing yards. He was 14 of 28. Holy shit. Is that 50%? Guy sucked out loud. The Lions could not run the ball. Here was the difference in the game. You ran the ball pretty decent, 148, even though it was 3-7 to carry. And those stupid pre-snap penalties. How many of those stupid pre-snap penalties are you going to tolerate if you've got this so-called culture of yours in not really getting penalties? 9 penalties in the ball game for the Eagles. I mean, by the numbers, Goff 14 of 37 for 255. Just an absolutely shit performance. Took 2 sacks in the game. Jahmyr Gibbs is sensational. I mean, if you can't stop him in the run game, he's going to kill you in the pass game. He was just fabulous. By the way, he makes Saquon Barkley look like he's a fat retired running back. He makes Barkley look less than common. I mean, when you watch Jahmyr Gibbs play and then you watch Barkley, it's like 2 different dudes. I mean, it's like 2 different guys. He is light years ahead of him in talent, youth, speed, explosiveness. He's fucking sensational. Just a sensational player. Dude, one guy doesn't win a fucking game by himself. What a dumbass. Gibbs is superior to Barkley. Superior to Barkley. Superior. A turning point last year was the players coming to Nick and saying, run the ball. Where are the leaders this year? This offense isn't working. The O-line is getting blown up. Where are the leaders? We need someone to take control of this football team. Absolutely true. Thank you, Stevie. Appreciate it. And I agree with you too, buddy boy. Sills, last night's ugly formula is our reality. Suffocating defense, emphasis on running, and poor, inconsistent passing game. This formula sets up our draft going forward. You're going to need an offensive line. Lane Johnson, Father Time has caught him. Okay? Father Time has caught him. He is starting to break down. Seals, Barkley has developed happy feet. Yes, he's tapping his feet in the backfield. Absolutely, Curtis. That's exactly what happy feet is. It isn't a lack of burst or tread on the tires. I remember Sean Alexander of the Seahawks fell off because of happy feet in the backfield. Absolutely correct. That's a great observation from you. You are dead on. He's just, hey, Tank Bigsby gets back there. He hits that hole, and he looks like he's got a burst. Saquon Barkley's back there. He looks like a stiff Hall of Fame. Are you out of your mind? Hall of Fame's in the rear view. That thing's in the rear view. That guy hasn't been like fell off the cliff. He fell off the mountain. He has fallen off the mountain. Okay? Let's see. Seals, one guy doesn't win a game by himself. Tell that to Josh Allen. 6 tutties and fucking 5 touchdowns and carrying a team with both wideouts, their top wideouts were out, and put up 44 on the Bucks. Yeah, I know. I saw it. I watched it. 6 fucking touchdowns. By himself. 6 touchdowns. There was no running game. It was Allen. What a fucking sensational performance. How you doing? How you doing? That's how you play the quarterback position. Sills, your take was great on Friday, how Vic would slow this offense down. You said pressure and the D-line put their hands up. That's right. Thank you very much. You know, sometimes when you hear people in Philly, they listen to the program, and my takes become their takes, and they just ignore what I say. But that's okay, because, you know, imitation's flattery. But you're right. I said the one thing that Clint Hurt was working with those guys was getting their hands up. You heard it, Mr. Hill, because I did say that on Friday. Because Goff throws the ball across the middle of the field a lot. The priority this week was getting the hands up and flooding the middle of the zone. Even if you don't get home, that is a trait that goes back to his schooling when he was at Miami. If you don't get there, get your hands up. There is no doubt Clint Hurt has made a bigger impact on these 2 defensive tackles than what even Tracy Rocker, who was a teammate also of mine. Clint Hurt's a Miami Hurricane, and I helped recruit him. We know each other a long time. And he's done a whale of a job. But that's right. The pressure that they got every single time that Goff turned around, Vic was bringing perimeter pressure. And that was instrumental in the football game. Okay? Absolutely. Way to listen, my friend. We did say that. Get your hands up. Because Goff throws the football to the middle of the field a lot. And he threatens the zone. And that's exactly what those guys did. Okay? Listen. Here. You said we were dumb for believing in Vic. No. I said that Vic, the system will not fail. Players will. Vic doesn't get the credit here. The players do. Vic's system, he said it. We'll find out what kind of players we have. Dave Wannstedt said it on this program. Bullshit? I had Dave Wannstedt come on this program and say, Vic's system won't fail. Players in it will. How many people remember Wannstedt saying that? The owner of 3 Super Bowls said Vic's a great coach. The players in the system will fail. Okay? Of course. Abe, thank you. You remember Dave on the program saying that? Some of these guys in here are brand new. So you're going to have to help them. There you go, Kyle. Thank you. Thank you, guys. These other guys are full of shit because they don't like to hear the truth. Okay? Well, dude, you weren't here. You weren't here. Seals, if people like Seth Joyner are giving up inside scoops on Hurtsy, that's Burns and Smithers doing. That's right. Hang on. We haven't even got to that. The writing's on the wall. We're getting closer to Tanner McKee, our baby of Eagles football. Yeah, right. Neither do. Hey, Prince, that's okay. I barely remember too. Holy cow, a rare Sills. I kind of heard it. Okay. Dave Wanstead told you. Hey, there's no doubt. Vic's infield game and his pressure that he brings is insane great. I've been impressed too. I've been impressed. Okay? I really have. He's been exceptional. Okay? Okay? Really? Your quarterback and his offense sucks. One, correct. Your running back, I asked every week, is running out of gas. Yes. Your old line, Father Time is catching up with Lane, and the tush push is taking its toll. Yes. There you go. Put that bullshit in your hat, fuck bag. Wasn't that the same Dave went into detail about Jimmy leaving Dallas during the 90s? Yes, it was. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you. Sills, how about the wide nine and leaving? Hey, man, I'm going to get to Nakobe here in a minute, too. And I will. I'll get to Nakobe and to Jalen. Hey, guys, did I not tell you that you would really love Jalen Phillips? I told you you'd love the kid. If healthy. There is no doubt the two guys that have made an impact on your defense. And it's affected the entire unit. Has been Nakobe. And it's been Jalen Phillips. Sills, the 2024 Eagles draft might end up being one of the best drafts for this franchise. Maybe. Well, wait a minute. Oh, yes, maybe. Yes, maybe. Yes. Sills, what do you think Baker would do in this offense? Will we still look like hell? Or no? Well, if you had a competent passer and somebody who knows how to run a passing offense, of course it would look better. Jalen Hurts is not made for that offense. Because if it's no running game, he's not a passer. If there's a running game, he's perfect for that offense. You don't have a run game. He's not going to win football games, he's not going to win championships with a one-dimensional fucking passing offense or non-passing offense in a shitty run game. You love our blowtorch defense. Now, how you doing? Well, again, it was a blowtorch defense until you added two players. And Phillips has been the difference. And Dean coming back, I got to say, Dean being added. But once again, we'll see if he lasts the year. That guy reminds me of a shooting star. Will he make? How about this? You think he plays and makes it the rest of the year? Hey, Big Marsh, you think he makes the rest of the year without missing time? Be the first time in his career. I don't think Barkley has lost a step, but I do think he's missing holes and running hesitant compared to Bixby, who just hits holes. Why would you think he's going to make it through when he's never? Yes, he will. Okay, well, that's pie in the sky. That's pie in the sky. Okay? Can anyone make it the rest of the year? Yeah, I see a lot of guys make it through the rest of the year and not put on injured reserve and out. Yeah, I do. I see a lot. I saw Zach Bond play from Green Bay to the Super Bowl a year ago. Yeah, I did. Wow, hoping for injuries. Hey, Spit, you're so fucking dumb. Seriously. The guillotine was made for dudes like you. Honestly. Like the electric chair was made for guys like you. Dean is that dude. We'll see if he can make the year. We shall. Offense should give game checks to the defense. The offense is just terrible. It's the worst offense of any contending team in pro football. You know what, Xander? I heard Xander talking to John this morning. He goes, hey, do you think we can win with this style? And I went like this. The difference from a year ago and you winning the Super Bowl was that you had a run game. You don't have a run game even. You've got to rely on your defense stopping teams 3 straight games in the postseason. Hey, get this. Good luck to you with your with your no dimensions offense. You don't have one dimension that's worth a shit or one redeeming quality about your offense right now, throwing it or running it. There's not one redeeming quality. Not one. Not one. I'll tell you this. You ain't 8-2 because of that shitty quarterback play. I mean, hey, by the way, how you doing? You're fucking right. You should be kissing that fucking defense's ass, not that shitty, high-priced, overpaid. How many people think the Eagles' offense is overpriced and overrated? How many people in here believe that? That the Eagle offense is overpriced and overrated. Get this. Nope. Only the quarterback. Well, I haven't even gotten to Jalen Hurts yet. I'm about ready to get there. Jalen Hurts. The bullshit artist leader. They're underperforming? That's being kind, Pat. I thought it was a team game. Offense is part of the team, is it not? Not overpriced. Not overpriced. A lot of injuries on the O-line. Dickerson, Juergens, and Johnson. What a fucking excuse. Welcome to the NFL, kid. You had injuries in the O-line a year ago. Didn't seem to stop you then. Seals Kadini Campbell sharing reps help Dean's health. Bro, no. Jacoby Dean out there makes your team better, not Jahad Campbell. Right now. I'm not even, hey, by the way, my friend, I'm not down on Campbell. Not, okay? Do you think if we get first round bye, can't get 2 wins? I don't know. With no offense, I don't know. We'll see. Still, it's a complete clusterfuck on from the quarterback to the coaches. By the way, Jalen Hurts is so bad right now. Running that offense, it's mind-numbing. And I get it. No turnovers. 500 attempts and no turnovers. And the worst balance of a team I've ever seen for a contending team. It is so bad. You underutilize every human being in your huddle. The receivers, by the way, the receivers sucked so bad last night. I wonder if that's got a lot to do with the weather and the approach. Our leadership is on the defensive side of the ball. Vic, Dean, Bond, DeJean, Graham. No leaders on offense. Participation captain's badges. Shooter. Name one team you can have beat that is better than who we beat. The Denver Broncos beat you. And I think the Rams are better than you. Now you're going to go, we beat the Rams. Okay, then you think Denver's better than you, right? Hey, Sills, I agree with you about the offense being overpaid and overrated during this offseason. Where should Howie start cutting the fat? A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown fucking loafed. Xander tried showing me something, and I didn't think he loafed. He fucking dogged it. He loafed on a play and on a pass route. He totally loafed. He loafed. Now, do you indict a guy for one play? Probably not. Because Jalen Carter takes plays off. He's notorious for taking plays off. AJ loafing? I mean, the play's not coming to him. By the way, he's bored. That was a bored play. Wasn't really loafing. He wouldn't come to me anyway. He never comes to me. Okay? You should be happy we won. Why are you so mad? I'm not mad. I'm sick and tired of you fucking sucking your defense and making it seem like, or your offense, and making it seem that you got some sort of superstar quarterback in the pocket. He stinks as a pocket passer. And when you don't have a run game, your offense is atrocious. Just terrible. This is a great take. Instead of Jalen meeting with MJ, he needs to meet up with great. How about this? Instead of meeting with MJ, how about meeting with your fucking team? Now let's get to this D Gun report. So Hurts hates his coaches, and now he's uncoachable. Britton Covey, when we called Britton Covey out on it, and Britton Covey said that he was not approachable and that the organization makes it so that he's not approachable. Now I know why AJ has to speak up, because Hurts won't. He's officially a company man. And he doesn't confer with the players. That's why the players are on AJ's side. Build Vic Fangio a statue right now. Wouldn't be a bad idea. So basically, you got a guy like Derek Gunn and Diana Rossini talking about Hurts in the locker room. Holy shit. Dude, that ain't even me. But the writing's on the wall. He's aloof. He's unapproachable. Shit, you got John even kind of hinting on that. You know what? You got to be careful with that. Because you start talking shit on Jalen Hurts, you're not going to be allowed in that NovaCare Center. That he's a bad teammate. Now you've got a national reporter and a local guy who's got major ties into that team. All the way from Big Dom to Brandon Graham, they love Derek Gunn. And now get this. According to Eagle fans, I'm sure Derek Gunn's a bad guy now too. Because you don't like to hear that your guy is not very good with his teammates. Your guy's not very good with his teammates. And that's the rub. This ain't me saying it. Okay? You got multiple people now saying it. You got multiple people complaining about him. That he's not a good teammate. Jesus criminy. Is this Carson Wentz 2.0? Is that what this is? Is that why Jeffrey Lurie had to go on the field on Friday to bring these guys together? Eric, funny. I like it. Get this. I'm a hater? I didn't say it. You got people that have been around the team a lot longer than me. You even had Seth Joyner talking about it on WIP this morning Don't get mad at me, Philly dogs. You got a former legend in Seth Joyner, D Gunn, and a national writer saying now that Jalen Hurts is a bad leader. Wasn't Big Sills. Not this time. But we've been kind of hitting on this the whole fucking year. How come AJ's the voice of the... Every time I bring that up, and you know what the excuse comes back? Well, that's just Jalen. Yeah, but Jalen by design. Okay? If Seth said it about Jalen, hey, dude. Okay, now D Gun's a fool. Of course it is. Because all you glazed donuts don't like hearing truth. Sills, do you believe Jalen's Jordan wannabe act is damaging to his locker room, mimicking the GOAT's personality when Jalen's really a sheep? Hey, dude, listen. He's a fucking caboose compared to Jordan. Are you kidding me? With that, hey, can you imagine Jordan scoring 2 points? Can you imagine him scoring 2 points in a game, coming out of the game and thinking he's Michael Jordan? Hey, what'd you shoot last night, Mike? 2 points. Okay, that's the GOAT. Hey, but I won. Okay. Yeah, well, that ain't GOAT conversation. Hey, I scored 4 points. I had 2 more points than Bronny James did the other night. Hey, Jalen Hurts is the Bronny James of quarterbacks in the end. That's not true. I'm kidding. That's not true. That's not. Bronny James. Says, could Dean and Campbell sharing reps? No. Sills, even with Hurts' issues, do you still believe Nick is a major problem with this team as well? I do. I think that bullshit that he talks every whatever day it is, Tuesday or fucking Monday, when he and his bullshit press conferences that you can't even listen to, talking about culture, process, and all that. How do you have a culture and process when your quarterback don't even want to listen to you and can't stand you? And rebels against your game plan and your, according to reports, the game plan on Sundays. He hates your fucking game plan. What kind of culture do you have, Nick? This is kind of all the shit that Angelo was talking about. Sills, I've actually seen an Eagle fan proclaim that Jalen Hurts was the second best quarterback in the league. Jalen Hurts has the second worst offense in pro football. And as a pocket passer, he's brutal. I mean, Tyrod Taylor and Jacoby Brissett throw the ball better than Jalen Hurts. He's a better version of Justin Fields. I mean, he's more accurate. Hey, give Justin Fields all that. See what he could do. Probably look the same. It probably looked the same. Jalen Hurts in that high-priced and overrated offense. Fucking doing dick. Congratulations to you. You guys are on a heater right now with that offense. Wait. Let me make myself feel better so I'm not shitting on all day here. Woo! Man. You know, it's almost like Vic Frankenstein Fangio is like, you know, this mad scientist. And Vic Frankenstein Fangio is like Dr. Fangio. And he just transforms these people with this system. And that was lights out. That's as good of a performance against a good offense as the Super Bowl performance by that defense against the Chiefs this past February. That's what that looked like. It looked like the Super Bowl performance against a really good offense. And it looked like a really good and well-coached and well-positioned, the in-game situational decision-making on pressure, substitutional changes were all awesome. There was nothing last night of any negative that you could have had for that defensive performance. That was just as good as the Super Bowl. By the end of the game, Jared Goff, I mean, he was tattered. It looked like, he had battlefield fatigue. They were bringing by the way, I thought by the end of the game, those receivers were short-arming catches or potential catches. You know them alligator arms? Keep them close to your arm, your chest, not extending. I thought those guys were, seriously, I thought they had battle fatigue on what they did. I mean, tremendous performance. Just an absolute gem in how you approached that football game. It was brilliant. It was just so well done. I mean, there was no getting around it. Okay? There was just no getting around it. And how they were able to go out and just dominate that football game. Just a brilliant performance. Really was, man. Kudos. Just absolute kudos to Vic Fangio and his guys. Hey, man. Jordan Davis. Very good game. I mean, a really good football game. He's putting weeks together now where, yeah, he's having a fine season. Jalen Carter getting better. There's no question that Jalen Phillips has added he's added context to that front four now. And now you put Jalix Hunt on the other side. We told you that all these guys were going to benefit having a guy like Jalen Phillips on the team. Hey, do you notice the play also with Bond? Since Jalen Phillips has been added, look at the way, look at the way they're running from sideline to sideline because of Jalen Phillips' presence. Tremendous. A B-plus offense in a shitty scheme will still be shit. Dude, the offense is just, it's like all over the place. You don't bring up, we played 5 top 10 Ds, KC, LA, Green Bay, Lions, Denver, and our offense is horrible. Just keep blaming Hurts. Hurts is part of it, guy. You just keep denying it. Your quarterback sucks as a passer. If you're a good football passing quarterback, you play great against those teams on an every week basis. He doesn't play well ever. He plays good against shitty teams. Oh, wait. The Vikings. Where are they going? Is this Eagles team giving you PTSD from 1-2-87? Sub Jalen for John Schaefer and Vic for Nevermind. That's behind the scenes there with Miami and John Schaefer and Jalen winning because John Schaefer, what did he throw in that game? 14 yards, and they won. I think real. What do we hold that guy in passing? to like 50 yards. I don't even remember. Yeah, I think he had like 35 yards passing. He's just terrible. They won the national title. So Jalen Hurts is John Schaefer. Okay. That's funny, actually, but not really. So I think the main issue is comparing this team to the 2024 Eagles, okay? Listen, wait a minute, David. David, I'm just talking about being decent on offense, not iconic in the run game. You're not even decent. If you look at this team isolated to 2025, they're beating the best teams in football. Hopefully the offense figures it out. Hope's not a strategy, my friend. Hurts has the worst pocket presence in the league. Man, does he ever. He's just brutal. He's brutal to watch. He really is. He's brutal to watch in the pocket. He's got terrible fundamentals. He's just not a very good passer. I mean, and when they don't have a run game, God, is he exposed. Jalen Hurts is okay with limited skills. With limited skill, they need to scheme for it. Hey, listen, correct. When he takes off running, in my opinion, I think he's tougher to defend. But for whatever reason, okay, whatever reason, okay, Hurts is terrible in the pocket. Just terrible. Just like Goff got exposed without a run game. Correct. Whoever said that Jared Goff was elite. Correct. No run game. He's not very good. Correct. Schaefer had 53 yards against us and won the national title. I know. I got it. So is Dexter Jackson. If the Eagles want offense to improve, let Loeffler call the plays. He has more experience than Petula, but he's Howie's guy, not Nick's. I think he's more Nick's dude because Nick got him from Indianapolis. Yeah, the great run game with Freddie Pacheco. The wonderful run game that they have. And he's won 3 Super Bowls with fucking Pacheco as his running back. What a run game. Wow. Amazing. Tremendous. That guy's never gained $1,000 in his life. What a run game. They won those Super Bowls with a massive run game. That's right. And all those MVPs. What a fucking dickhead. Sills, there was a perfect example of how risk adverse Jalen has become in the game last night. Jalen had more than 5 seconds in the pocket and still couldn't find anybody. Abe, right? Okay, right? No, you're right. He's better than Mahomes because he played a great game. Wow, he's better. Only a douchebag would think that. He's better than Mahomes. Okay. Oh, my God. Now he's comparing Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. After what you saw last night and on Monday, he's comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. Oh, my God. Holy shit. You got to be kidding me. Mr. Hill, you got great takes. Ravens won the Super Bowl with Dilfer. They sure did. Quinion having an all-pro type year. I think so is Cooper. Okay? I'm thinking he is. Yes. That's RC. That's what he said here. So what do they do with Hurt Sills? That's Lori's golden child. Let's have an honest convo here. If they don't win the Super Bowl, it'll be a failure year on Jalen Hurts. How about this? Let's put this out here. And let's write this down for all of us to remember. I'm going to pin this too. In the next 5 years, if you only win one Super Bowl, will the Jalen Hurts era be a disaster? Yes or no? Not disaster. Underachieving. Yes or no? November 17th, 2025. Complete underachieving. Yes, Aaron Rodgers, underachieving. Peyton Manning, Indy, underachieving. Yes. With that talent and the talent of the quarterback, underachieving. You bet he did. With the talent of the quarterback, now he didn't have the same talent that Manning had. Manning had 3 Hall of Famers. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne will one day be, Edgerrin James, and Marshall Faulk. All those Hall of Fame players. And a Hall of Fame head coach. And he won once. That's underachieving in Indianapolis. Right? Fuck, Ben Roethlisberger won 2. Okay? So, hang on here. Let's see here. So, Kurt Warner, did I see somebody say Kurt Warner? Kurt Warner was an undrafted, cut 7 times guy, never drafted, won a Super Bowl MVP, put a team in the Super Bowl twice, wasn't drafted. He overachieved. What were your expectations on a guy who barely got the job after Trent Green smashed his head against the wall and was going to be cut again? Are you really under the impression they had expectations that a guy who had been cut 5 times off of 5 different fucking football teams was going to turn out to have a gold jacket? How dumb are you? Even Hurts was drafted in the 2nd round. Just seems like these coaches have Hurts playing with both hands tied behind his back. They do. Not using his legs is criminal. Completely true. They're not coaching him right. Maybe they're holding it for the playoffs. You can only hope, and I appreciate that, my friend. If they went back to treating the kid the way in his skill set that he has, it'd be a different offense. Brady and Manny never had the squad like this one. It's shameful and an indictment against the quarterback. Think about this, Josh. Tom Brady, outside of Gronkowski, never played with one guy, offensive skilled-wise, to the talent that Jalen Hurts has. Only Gronk and won a Super Bowl with. Think about that. Not one guy will make the Hall of Fame off the Brady offense that they won Super Bowls with, except for one guy, Gronkowski. No one else. No one else. Stop with the fucking Moss. They never won a Super Bowl with Moss. They never won a Super Bowl. Hey, I think Antonio Brown's a Hall of Famer. in New England, excuse me. I meant in New England. Never played with one guy in New England that will make the Hall of Fame other than Gronkowski. Okay? One guy. One guy. Hall of Fame. He played with one Hall of Famer in New England. One. With nobody near the talent level of Devontae and AJ and Barkley. Nowhere near that. Okay? He never had the talent that Jalen has. And he won 6 of them. Edelman will be buying a ticket to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Okay? The Eagles are risk averse, right? I guess so. They're holding things on offense for they're holding things for the playoffs. Such a dumb take. You're not that good. Are we talking getting to the Super Bowl multiple times? Yeah. But only winning one? Or are we talking about making the Super Bowl at all? I'm asking you, David. Not to be, well, hey, David. I'm not talking about getting there. I'm talking about winning it. In a 5-year run, if you got the 4 Super Bowls and won one, would you think that'd be a letdown? Manning only had Marshall Faulk for one season. All right. Eder and James. Whereas Brady had a ton. Kevin Faulk is not a Hall of Fame player. Brady played with no Hall of Famers in New England, but one guy. And went to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them. Brady was guaranteed the division. Well, hell, guy, your division don't look very promising this year that there's any world beaters in it. Unless I'm mistaken, where's the world beaters in your division? You got your fucking division wrapped up on November 17th. These guys aren't fucking Hall of Famers. Listen, again, fans don't seem to realize we've already trounced the NFC this year. Well, then I'll tell you what, you bet, get this, folks. If they don't win the Super Bowl after doing all this, is that a letdown? With that awful offense? Trounced? With the shittiest offense in pro football for any contending team. You got a terrible offense, dude. It's the worst of any contending football team in National Football League. Is that shitty offense of yours? Kevin Cobb would do better than Jalen on this team. Let's not get nutty, but hey, by the way, you know those combination locks? 34, 28, 39, 18, 4. I'm convinced Kevin Petula would have a tough time with combination locks. I mean, this guy could barely call up sequence of plays. Can you imagine this guy trying to figure out a combination lock? 48, 38, 22, 14, 6, shit. 3, 15. Hey, wait a minute. My birthday. 12, 3, 63, 4. 9. Wait a minute. Holy shit. What was my cousin's birthday? Is it my birthday or my cousin's birthday? Hey, Nick, I need some help. Didn't you write it down? No, I did it by memory. You did something by memory? Yeah, what the hell? 14 right, 27 left. Shit. I'm convinced that guy couldn't figure out a lock. We're Broncos of the NFC. Denver versus Philly. Super Bowl. How you doing? Wow, that's a barn burner, man. Bo Nix, baby. And Jalen Hurts. Lot in common. 2 shitty quarterbacks who can't get out of their way and let the defenses eat. I like it. And the game would be 3-2. 3-2. Eagles win. What a game. And Hurts is the MVP again. 3-2. Denver and Philly. Who's the quarterbacks? The high-flying offenses of the Eagles and the Denver Broncos. Holy shit. You know what the under is? 11. Hey, can you imagine? The bookie guys in Vegas and Atlantic City. What's the over-under? 11. It'd be 11. Yeah. Oh, man. 11. Brady and Manny both had great OCs. Look what McDaniel's done with Drake May. He really has, man. I appreciate that dirty date. Yeah, Denver beats you and they still stink. I got it. Brady said it best last year. Jalen is a good quarterback when you get him in rhythm. Kellen figured it out last year. KP has a long way to go. That guy couldn't make pancakes. Kevin Patullo. I mean, 38, 42, 38. Wait. 43, 39, 42, 42, 8, 4. I can't get this combination lock open, man. Hey, Nick, can you get Big Dom? Sills, looks like my prediction of the play calling genius of Dumb and Dumber has happened. Oh, my God. How about the greatness of Sirianni at the end of the game? Hey, we're winning. Let's go for it on 4th and 1 when everything has gone south offensively, including short yardage for the Eagles. Let's go for it. They don't get it. They get the ball. They kick the field goal. What a dummy. I mean, he's so stupid. And get this. At the end of the game, I thought my players would what? Cover for your incompetent call? Vic had his disciple, Vance. Dude, Vance Joseph is a disciple of Vic Fangio. They run that same defense in Denver. That's correct. Yes. Patullo couldn't heat up a hot dog in a microwave. Yeah. Hey, remember something about hot dogs, my friend? Assholes and lips. That's from courtesy of my grandpa. Yeah. My aunt's laughing right now. I know she is. My grandpa used to say that to me. Assholes and lips, hot dogs. I don't know. My cousin Kevin loves hot dogs. I never really was a hot dog guy because my grandpa made me not really like hot dogs. After he said that comment, I go, what do you mean? He told me everything. I go, yeah, okay, no. I'm started to kind of like hot dogs now, but the beef kind. My cousin Kevin used to love eating the hot dogs, though. I hope we win the Super Bowl so Lane can retire in peace. Dude, this Lane Johnson injury, I blame on the organization for not having more balance, being able to throw the ball. You wore him out. You wore these dudes out. Every guy's fucking hurt, including the back not having any juice. Surely it's, listen, 1 or 2 guys. Okay? Okay. So, Coach Brown's tomorrow. So we'll do that tomorrow with him. And Xander, we'll do you at 3:30. And we got Gary Cobb at 4:30. So we're good with that. So we'll go that route. How's that, Z? Is that cool? So we'll go that route. Okay. Are we good with that? Okay, we'll go with that. And we're going to get Angelo on tomorrow, too. So at what point will Roseman address the continuity of the offense? I get we lost OCs due to success, but at some point, this needs to be figured out. You think? Either you figure it out or you get rid of AJ in the offseason. Assholes and lips. Sounds like Sirianni. That's funny, Harry. Yeah, that's funny. As a Birds fan, it seems to me like the defense is the kill switch instead of the O. Once Philly has a 2-score lead, they play it safe and blame coaching. Dude, Philadelphia gets the lead with that defense right now. Listen, will it last? Will it last? You're not very deep. You lose Phillips or you lose Dean, you're toast. You're back to mediocrity. Bond made the defense with Sweat and with Milton. Those three guys, and Slay and CJ, those guys all made that defense last year. This year, Q. Hey, by the way, surely you noticed that Reed's playing better since N'Kobe got put in there at linebacker to take the underneath zone. Actually, the last 2 games, you can make the argument Reed's played his best ball the last 2 games. Right? M. Reyes, there ain't no ifs about your shitty fucking offense. If? No. Is. Sills, what do you think Jalen's ceiling is? Ceiling? You're looking at it. He's not getting better. He'll get smarter. Dude, we're how many years in now? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 5 years starting, 6 years in the league. What are you waiting for? Like some sort of like out-of-body experience? Where he gets transformed into what? Joe Montana? Tom Brady? What? What are you waiting? Yeah, 2022 is his ceiling. I will agree with this. I will. I thought that was the worst performance by the wideouts the entire year, including Goddard. Absolutely, I agree. They didn't help him either. But AJ's not helping loafing either. Here, how about this one here? This is what shows you what kind of idiotic and buffoon people we have here. Guy wants the Eagles to lose. Why would I want to cover the Cardinals? You're so much of an imbecile. He's getting more and more upset because they somehow keep pulling games out. This shows his show is to generate. Bro, I've been in broadcasting for 40 fucking years. If you think I need some imbecile like you to keep my career going, you need to go back to fucking New Jersey or wherever the hole you're from. Clicks and views? Bro, I've been doing sports talk for 40 years almost. What the fuck are you talking about? Clicks and views? That's it. Some guy from Passaic, New Jersey. I want to infuriate. What a tool. I'm not down on saying Barkley, but I feel like Bigsby should be the focus. No, Cedric. I think he's a nice option. It sure does look like this, though, dude. You put him in the game, and there's more energy when he runs. Seals, do you think if Jalen had a better coach, he would see the game better? Yeah. I think Nick is as smart as a box of Frosted Flakes, like Frosted Flakes, but you want to go there? Okay. I think the guy's more Cracker Jacks with a toy inside. Ooh, look. I think he's an imbecile. They win in spite of that guy. Culture. You got a quarterback who hates him and the offensive approach, so much so he doesn't give a shit by reports about the game plan. The players know that he's not on the same page, and it looks at when they run their routes. Of course you disagree. I'm sure you're one of those glazed donut Eagle guys. Ooh, look at my guy. Look at him go 14. What was it? Watch my guy go 14 of 28, 50%, 105 yards passing. With A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. This guy has the arm of an Army quarterback. Like, he should have played at Annapolis instead of like Oklahoma or Alabama. Like, I would say this, of all the quarterbacks who have, even that kid Milrose has a better arm. Wait a minute. I'll take that back. I don't understand Shane Steichen. Show the blueprint how to unlock Jalen Hurts' ability. Why won't the rest of the coordinators? Okay, Philly. Because they hired the coordinators for Nick, not for Jalen. When we say topics like this, okay, I'm not just saying them. They don't hire these coordinators for Hurts to make him better. They hire coordinators to make Nick better. They save his job, the coordinators. Dude, the only thing, honest to God, that keep Nick in the building is that Jalen Hurts and all the star players on the team, they're winners. Nick, it's not even a caboose. It's like that fucking thing that you put on a railroad tracks that fix the railroad ties. It's not even part of the train. He's just a guy trying to run for the train. He's a guy chasing the train down. Jalen at least is connected. You know what's hilarious? Nick says he believes in the offense ending the game. The last two games, these bums fail on fourth down. He owes it to the defense. You know what I really like? So Sirianni addressed that thing on fourth down. Listen, I just have trust in my players. To what? Bail you out on shitty calls? Why put your players in a bad spot? You tell me you play the percentages. Is it the percentage? Fourth down, middle of the field, to punt with seconds left in the game? Instead of giving the opponent the chances, it's a 2-score game. You've got the game won. They go down, they kick the fucking field goal. Way to go, Nick. Hey, way to make it a game at the end. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. 2 games in a row now. That's how games have ended. As per D Gunn, the organization is not happy with Hurts, but won't bench him because of his contract. Wait a minute here. Welcome to the NFL. Okay? You think the Arizona Cardinals are benching Kyler Murray, making $48 million, even though Brissett runs the better offense and spreads the ball better? This just in. Hello. You pay him, you play him. You pay him, you play him. Bench Hurts for who? Absolutely not. Bench Jalen Hurts. What are you, psycho? The whole thing comes off the rails then. I disagree. A better coach would improve Jalen. My thinking is Jalen is why the coaching sucks. How about this? So if you had the coaching And that coach is more of a drop back type coach. And you had a guy like Phillip Rivers. You're going to win a shitload of games. You're going to have more turnovers, though, which may cost you games in the end. Jalen is the perfect – he's the perfect wildcat quarterback. They asked Nick to tie his shoes and started zipping up his coat. Yeah, I don't have common sense. Hey, Nick, tie your shoes, and he zips up his zipper. Oh, my God. He's back to Wishbone. Dude, stop with this McKee shit. Stop it with that. Okay? Tanner McKee. If you see Tanner McKee, the Eagles are in the middle of a collapse. Tanner McKee. The only time I want to see Tanner McKee is when he brings Jalen Hurts a cup of Gatorade. Here, dude. Here's a cup of Gatorade. Now, get this. Hey. Hold on here. One more thing. Xander, not yet. I'm going to bring him on in a minute. Xander, it's now going into week 10. Anything wrong with Barkley? No. Oh. Okay. Hey. All right. Yeah. Okay. How about that? Listen, I want to do this before I bring Big Z in. It's a tremendous defensive football team. Okay? Funny. I think I had it wrong. Big Z's no-hold defense is back, but the Limburg cheese offense reigns forever. The worst show on turf. You know, the greatest show on turf, Ram team, the Eagles have the worst show on turf with the highest priced and most overrated offense in pro football history. Woo! How you doing? That's what I'm talking about. $200 million for all my Italian buddies out there to get ungats. Yeah. Yes, sir, baby. 16 big points. They get it done. They hold down a high-flying offensive football team on Monday and on Sunday. You got the Dallas Cowboys coming up. No Lane Johnson, maybe, and no Cam. Fuck it, we're ready. With that high-powered offense and that amazing quarterback, Jalen Milrose fucking Hurts. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend. God, he had to be on until what time? I went to take a piss last night. I turned it on. I think the guy was still on at 3. And he was talking to M. Reyes. I'm sure of it. Without further ado, my guy, Big Z. Xander Krause joins us now.
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Woo! I can't get enough of this team, man.
I know you can't. You absolutely love this team.
I love this team.
This team and Dan Sileo are like a match made in heaven.
Oh my God. And
you guys are like soulmates.
And the fans, oh my God. It is the perfect, of all the places I've ever talked sports, I have never in my life ever thought that Philly, the Eagles, would fit like a fucking glove. How you doing?
Well,
mic drop.
You know what? I feel pretty good about the team today. It's like this great sense of freedom that you get when you just realize that the offense blows and you don't care about it anymore. You're just like, okay, the offense sucks ass. Jalen sometimes can't hit the broadside of a barn. We don't move the ball through the air. We can't run the ball. But we beat the Detroit Lions and held them to 9 points. And if that team can't get us when our offense stinks, then I'm not of the belief that any team can get us if the offense stinks, because that's the number one team that would make the Eagles pay for an inept offensive performance. So I used the word enlightened this morning. And that sense of enlightenment, Sills, is still reigning over me right now as I am just excited about the defense. And my expectations on the offense at this point are gone. I don't have any. They stink. They don't move the ball. They stink.
This
But
guy
the
fucking ripped me last week for that.
I know. It took me a week.
All
Give
right.
the youngster some time. It took
Absolutely.
me another week.
Absolutely.
I had to say on the postgame show, fuck you, Sileo, before I could get to the sense
Fair
of
enough.
enlightenment.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I mean, the offense is what it is. But in all seriousness, I do feel really good about the defense. I mean, they're crazy good how good they are. I mean, you got Jalen Phillips out here beating up on the best right tackle in football. I mean, holy moly, man. It's one thing to beat up on the Packers guy. It's another thing to beat up on this dude, Penei Sewell. They were all over the place. Carter's looking better. Davis is looking better. Jalen Phillips has really brought that thing together. Kobe Dean is like a bat out of hell at linebacker, just an absolute beast. The corners look better because your pass rush is getting better. I mean, that defense is a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing.
That was a better performance in the Super Bowl.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do.
Dude,
I had no expectations on that defense doing that last night.
That Chiefs team didn't get past midfield for 10 drives.
Yeah, but I didn't expect that defense to look like that, man. I
didn't either.
We started seeing the defense get better and better and better and better and better. This has only been 2 weeks, and all of a sudden it went like this. It was like a light switch, dude. I mean, holy piss. If Jalen Phillips and Kobe Dean being added to the defense, it's like the last 2 spark plugs in an engine. You know where you need that one piece and like the fuel?
Yep.
And Vic is so good at situational blitzes. How many times did Jared Goff turn when they were trying to go backside on the pressure and somebody was in his grill?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm shaking my head like this going, with no words going, bro, it's so good. Hey, get this. All the shitty moves that Howie made, if Phillips runs through the tape and he's healthy.
Man. I think they're paying him, dude.
Oh, yeah, you're paying him.
I'm thinking it's going to be $28 million.
Something like that. There's no doubt, too, that Drew Rosenhaus is in his ass and in his ear right now telling him. There is no doubt. Hey, look, dude, one thing is a factor here going forward. You think you're feeling pretty good about the team when you're losing Lane for 6 weeks?
Well, that's definitely going to be a hit. But, here, I'll go back to what I said a second ago. The offense doesn't do shit for us anyway. I mean, I know it sucks that Lane Johnson's out there, but congratulations. You go from sucky to even more sucky. The defense is the team right now.
So you're ready to win games 3-2. You're ready to win games 3-2 if you have to. That's whatever.
What it feels like, So it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, I get it. Lane's a big loss. I do think Father Time's catching up with Lane, unfortunately, a little bit, which sucks because Lane, he's one of the greatest Eagles of all time, and he's a Hall of Fame tackle, maybe one of the best right tackles of all time.
Yep.
So, but it's a big loss. If the offense was moving the ball better, I would, I would say maybe it mattered more, but it doesn't.
Boy. All right. Let's get to it now. Whew. Man, that thing's a train wreck on the offensive side. It is a train wreck.
You're going to make me grill him, aren't you? You're going to make me do it.
Listen, no, wait. As great. How about the finance? By the way, one more thing on the defense. How about the financial end of this? You're paying nobody. You're not paying anybody right now.
Yeah, but they do have a lot of pedigree over there. Jordan Davis, first-round pick.
Nobody right now.
Well, I know, but some of it is circumstantial. I mean, Jordan Davis, first-round pick. Jalen Carter, first-round pick. Jalen Phillips, first-round pick. N'Kobe's a third-round pick. Nolan Smith's a first-round pick. Quinion's a first. Okay. Cooper's a second. Zach Bond was, I forget what he was, but he was obviously a free agent, so that was different. Makuba's a second-round pick. Okay. So, everybody on that defense over there is.
Let's play the game then. Are you keeping A.J. Brown over Jalen Phillips
No.
with finances?
No. I don't think that makes sense. I mean, the defense is the team is the part of the team that has us winning games, not the offense.
Okay.
By the way, it's not changing. It's not changing at all. Like, look at this stat. I just put this up on Twitter. John Ganud is a guy who works for the Eagles. He put up the Eagles are 40-2. 40-2. That's a 9.52 win percentage when they win the turnover battle under Nick Sirianni. They're 6-0 in the playoffs. No, excuse me, 6-0 during the 25 season. The playoffs are included in the 40-2 battle.
Bro, dude, that's turnovers. I get it.
This guy DeJerk says that this guy DeJerk. Who the fuck are you, guy? Because I was the one beating on the counter to trade for Myles Garrett for 3 first-round picks. Now he's saying I didn't want to trade him to keep Bond. What the fuck are you smoking? You smoking on that peyote, my guy?
Hey,
you
bro, I would
the
trade
with some meth.
Bond.
I don't know what you're smoking.
Boss, trading Bond for Garrett is a fucking steal.
Dude, I was like the leader of the trade 3-1 for Myles Garrett. What are you talking about, guy?
Got to be kidding me, man. Bro, what's up with your quarterback?
Well, all right, I'm going to say this. A lot of people tried to delegitimize that Derek Gunn report, and I went back and listened to what Derek Gunn had to say on that show. Yeah, that's a lot more damning than people let us on to believe in the chat. Did you hear it?
No. I want you to paraphrase.
Yeah, I got to send it to you.
Tell me what your takeaway then was, and I'll buy your
He basically said this is almost reaching Carson Wentz part 2.
What?
Yeah. That's basically what he said.
That's an adversarial relationship.
That's a quote, by the way. This is reaching Carson Wentz part 2. A paraphrase, but he used the word Carson Wentz part 2.
You think there's a disconnect between him and the head coach? And that's why I
don't know who the disconnect is with, but it appears everybody in there is seemingly a little unhappy with the quarterback. Now, again, it is what it is. Like, this team is so successful despite that. So, I'm not going to sit here and like harp on it. But for anybody who tried, like, again, D Gunn is not the type of dude that comes out and just makes shit up about the Eagles. He's very well connected. He
wants to walk. By the way, guys like that want to walk back into the Novacare.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, it was worse. I'll send you the clip. And you'll be able to hear it. And it wasn't good. I mean, it was pretty scathing actually of the quarterback. And he almost framed it up as, credit the organization because they've been able to win despite basically everybody being upset with the way the quarterback is playing.
I heard Seth on IP too also kind of paraphrase it.
Yeah, and Seth put it lightly because Seth likes, he doesn't like to stir it up too much with the players anymore. He used to, but he doesn't anymore.
Would you make AJ loafing? I know now what you were talking about with me with that play. I didn't see it, in real time. I went back and I saw it. He totally loafed that play. Yeah,
he did. He did loaf that play. It wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look. Now, I did say this morning, I'll default like, guys like Johnny Mack, guys like you. I mean, you guys have been around the game a lot more. Maybe you're a player, you got a different perspective. But John's like, dude, I've covered Randy Moss. Like, if you think Randy Moss didn't take some plays off, you're delusional.
Jalen Carter takes plays off.
That's what I mean. Like, so again, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying it is kind of a part of the game, especially when you're a guy like A.J. Brown doesn't get the ball that much. Now, it's a bad look. It was specifically bad on that play. I will point out, I don't think whether A.J. Brown ran through that or not, I don't think that was going to be a completion. All right. That was pretty good coverage right there. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's not a great look, but here's my problem with it. Not specifically that play, but AJ as a whole. Now that they've targeted AJ and the offense still is bad, everybody's now using this as an excuse to pile on AJ. And I'm like, dude, the offense blew when they didn't target AJ. Like, you think that them targeting AJ is the reason the offense blew? They sucked last week targeting Devontae and Goddard. They sucked the week prior. They've been a bad passing offense for the better part of 2 years. You think one Sunday night where they target A.J. Brown is the reason the offense stunk? It's not the reason. It's now an excuse for people. So I'm not buying that. It's not the reason the offense stunk because they were trying to get A.J. Brown the ball. It was a bad look, though, for him to make the stink and then get the ball and just, shows up on tape. It's not a great look. It is
All
what
right.
it is. It's not a great look.
Are you going to go weather? Are you going to go turmoil on why the receiving core played poorly? Because they get this, not just going and piling on Jalen here. They didn't have a good night. That's probably one of the worst games I've seen that unit, the whole unit, play. Dropping passes on the kid. There were a lot of drops in that ball game, dude. So, I mean, is it the disconnection, the turmoil behind the scenes, the quarterback, KP, all of the above?
It's a little bit of all the above, but I think last night specific. I mean, if you're going to remove for a second the 2-year sample size of a shitty passing game and just look at last night, I think the wind was the biggest factor in the drops, specifically the drops. I mean, the weather was tough. It was a little cold. It was windy out there.
Wind's the worst thing you can have for a quarterback.
By the way, you're also, I mean, how many drops did Amon-Ra St. Brown have last night?
Oh, he was.
I mean, the Detroit Lions had a bunch of drops too. So if both teams have drops,
So
I think the weather, the weather played a factor. But I do think there is just a major disconnect on the team, and eventually that is going to get to them. They keep winning. I get it. So that's probably a big part of it. I'm almost at a point now where I really don't think Patullo is this bad. I mean, everybody's online like talking still about Patullo, and I get it. Patullo doesn't look good, but the dude is calling plays to fit what Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts want to do, which is not throw the ball in any tight windows, protect the football, to the highest level. And that creates an offense that looks like shit. I mean, if I hear one more time that the route concepts are bad, I'm going to blow my head off. I know they're bad because they can't fucking draw anything to the middle of the field. How would you feel? What do you think you can do offensive game plan wise when you can't use 80% of the field? I mean, come on, guys. That's not a Kevin Patullo problem. Now, he's the one that looks the worst because of it, but he's hamstrung. That's the nature of the beast. But here you are. You're getting me worked up on this passing game. I think we're going to win the Super Bowl because our defense is so fucking lights out. I refuse to fall into it. I refuse to get mad at this passing game. As easy as
but you don't have one dimension that's redeemable on offense. Last year you had one thing that made it so. I don't think you're the best team in the NFC. I think you're one of. You have too many flaws in your football team on one side of the ball. Yeah, your defense is great. Bro, you don't do anything well on offense.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that's not only fair to say, but that's backed by the statistics. It's by the evidence. It's by the
performance, right?
By the performance. I mean, there's not basically a single thing that somebody could use to dispute that properly. I mean, it is what it is.
I agree with you on this here. Kevin Patullo's a puppet in this whole thing.
He's a
puppet in it. He's not really. It's Nick. He's the one that is the guy. What about that decision that Nick had on 4th down? 2 weeks in a row, he gave the opposing team opportunity to make the game. How about this? I don't think Detroit was winning that game anyway, but still made the game interesting when he didn't have to. What'd you make of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we realistically, with the way the defense played last night, we should have won that game like 28-6.
Absolutely.
I mean, because remember, we gave them 3 at the end with Nick Sirianni being an airhead. Just come on.
That's right. That's what that was.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, but at the end of the day, here's what I'm grappling with. Because I hear you. Like, part of me is just like, how do you not beat this team worse? But we've now beaten the Lions. We've beaten the Packers. We've beaten the Rams. We beat the Chiefs. We beat the Cowboys. We beat all these different teams. And it's like, if your defense is able to rise up
the trap again.
Am I? You think I am? Or do you not honestly believe? Because Sills, honestly, yesterday's game changed it for me. Because remember after last week, I was like, we are going to get got. The Lions were legitimately the team I had in mind for you're going to get got by that team because they ain't scoring under 10 points. Well, here we are, and they scored under 10 points. And by the way, the other part of it is now we got to play a home. Now we're going to potentially, we have the fast track, the inside track to play home playoff games. So it's not like we're ever going to have to go to Ford Field and play inside that dome. They're going to have to come to Philly. And the weather in January is going to be worse than it was last night. So, like, if that team couldn't get us, isn't it just like nobody might get us?
Okay. want to ask you something here. I'm going to point this out to you. Do you think beating Minnesota, the Bucks, Rams, an 11-win Dolphins team, an 11-win Cowboy team, the Chiefs, and the Bills, all in consecutive weeks, you think that's pretty good?
I'd say.
Okay, well, that's what you did in 23, and that's kind of what you've done now.
Well, that's a fair way to look at it because if you remember, we beat all the teams we were supposed to beat in 23, or the tough teams, and we lost to the teams. Excuse me, we beat the teams we were supposed to be tough, and we lost to some of the teams. We lost to the Cardinals down the stretch, Seahawks when they stunk at the time,
Giants.
Giants. That's right. That's actually a fair. I mean, that's fair context. The only thing I would say that's different is we got Vic Fangio. You know what I mean? So it's tough for me to look at 23 because that was such a defensive collapse, and you have such a veteran play caller and guy manning the defense right now where
but you have nothing to lean on with offense here. Hurts wasn't terrible in 20.
Yeah, but I mean, look, they're still going to make the occasional spot play. They had the 34-yarder to Dotson last night.
The 148 rushing was the thing that won the game. Because you were terrible on third down, right? You were like 4-15 on third down.
Can we get 2 good drives a game?
Wow.
That's
now
it.
You sound like Army.
I just want 2 good drives a game because then you just give us enough points for the defense to take us home.
So you're going to play with –
By the way, remember, we got 3 points last night also because of the defense. Remember, we got hand-delivered the ball at the 11-yard line, and we got 3 yards on that drive. We started at the ball at the 11. We ended up kicking a field goal from the 8.
Let me ask you something on this, though. Are we being too critical with the offense? Because Green Bay and Detroit's defense are awful good.
They're good. They're good, but that's a team that was missing. They were missing 2 guys in their secondary last night. You know, their interior of their defensive line is
clearly we're missing Sam Laporta on offense.
Missing Laporta. I mean, look, it's fair, but the offense hasn't only been bad when we've played them.
No, it's been bad all year.
Yeah, we had the outliers are the games where we were good on offense, or the halves we were good on offense.
Halves.
You know, Rams, Bucks. Those are half games. So those are the outliers, you know. Maybe you get them in the playoffs, get a half of football. You can put 14 points on the board, and your defense will take you home.
So you really don't have a problem with the margin of error being 0?
I do have a problem with it, but what am I going to do about it? They're not going to change. I will be miserable for the remainder of the season if I care too much.
Okay.
As I was last week on the postgame show. It took me till Friday to snap out of my misery.
Hey, so let's put this out here. Over the next 5 years, if this era of football with all this great talent, you go to 2 Super Bowls and you win 1, will that be a success or failure?
I think that'd be a failure. I don't think failure is the right word, but it would be an underachievement.
Okay, underachievement. Okay. All those wins you just mentioned, you're right. You know, I keep asking the big thing now, and Xander, hold on. I got to make sure that I get the week right. Let me go down here on scheduling, and let me go. Here we go. Xander, it's week 11. You think there's something wrong with Barkley?
Yeah, I do. I'll finally give in. I do. He doesn't hit the hole the same. I don't think he runs as hard. I think
Tank Bigsby hit the hole better.
Well, I think what Barkley's problem is right now is he's overthinking. Like, he's looking for that home run every time. Because if you remember last year, he was a very patient runner. He's a very patient runner. And then, boom, he would explode the hole, get to the second level, and he was gone. It almost feels like he's waiting and waiting and waiting for that hole to open up, and it's just not opening up, you know, and you got to just get downfield right now, and that might open those up more to have a chance at those coming. You know, it almost feels like he's trying to do that every play. You know, he's almost too patient in that he's waiting for this hole that's just never coming. And the offensive line is worse. I mean, that is a factor. They're not blocking as well. So that is a factor. But I do think Barkley's not the same.
Well, I mean, if you don't get that run game going, man, God, your errors of it's so slim.
I know, but dude, like, we just beat the Lions and we ran the ball pretty okay.
148. That's not awful.
Yeah, but Saquon was what, 3 yards a carry in that game? 3.5 yards a carry?
Yeah, I think he had what was it?
He had 26 carries for like 78 yards.
Man,
that's my point about this game. Like, we came into this game like this is kind of the team that would make things hard for the Eagles. Remember all our game prep last week. Can't play this conservative versus the Lions. They're going to score some points. Defense comes in and just dismantles them. I mean, Jared Goff was in hell last night. In hell.
Totally.
I mean, he
worst
was a
game I've ever seen. Worst game I've ever seen him play.
74% complete. I don't think people realize how crazy that is.
Yeah.
Listen to Kurt Warner explain how fucking hard it is to complete 74% of your passes. He says if you're completing 68, that's insane.
Insane great.
Now, it's a different game today. There's a lot more checkdowns, a lot more underneath stuff. It's a little bit of a different game, but he was a 74% completion guy. He was 14 of 30-something yesterday. 14 of 37, I think it was. I mean, that's insane. So if the defense can do that to that team, one of the highest powered offenses in pro football, 2 running backs who are successful, 2 great receivers who can get open in space versus zone defense, a quarterback who's quick, has great timing and great accuracy. If that team can't do it, the Rams are maybe the only other team that I think, because I think Stafford's a much better player than Goff.
Yeah, by far.
That's the only other team. The only other team. Honestly.
Well, then how did the Broncos beat you?
The Broncos are interesting because they're kind of built like us, and they're also another team that when you watch them, you're like, this isn't a Super Bowl contender, even with the record. But then they just keep beating teams. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Chiefs. They're beating all these teams. So it's like, at what point do you give them the same credit? Now, they don't have quite the resume that we have, where we have the sustained success in the last couple of years. The coach does. That's fair. You could also make an argument to coach underachieve with Drew Brees. But
okay, yes. Yep.
So, but he does have more pedigree. So that's fair. I mean, they're in the AFC, though. I'll worry about them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know.
How about this one here, Xander? Is it because Jahmyr Gibbs made Barkley look just so common last night? That guy running to the edge. Dude, you said it to me on draft day. I'm like, who the fuck is Gibbs? And I'm like, this guy gets to the perimeter. He outruns pursuit. I couldn't believe how electric he is. Just electric.
Like, I don't know another guy in the NFL that can run by NFL guys like that. I mean, dude, they were not like big windows for him to gash the team. He had those couple 40-yard screen passes where, I mean, there's guys within an arm length of him. Yeah. And they just can't touch him.
Outruns him.
Just outruns him, scoots by him, jukes by him. But speaking of Gibbs, I got to give credit to this Eagles defense, man. How about that run defense yesterday? How about Jordan Davis yesterday? Jahmyr Gibbs, while he was great in the passing game, he had like 12 carries for 30-something yards on the
total rushing in that game, I believe.
I mean, they swallowed him up in that running game. So, look, he made some plays in the passing game, yeah, but look at what this defense can do when you take away the run. And Jordan Davis has now really come alive in that area. Jalen Carter looks better. The batting of the passes is crazy because, especially versus a quarterback like Jared Goff, I mean, that's the problem. That's going to be a thing versus the Rams. I mean, that's another quarterback that'll stand in the pocket and throw. If you got guys that are jumping up and timing it perfectly, that makes those guys life hell, dude. That's another element, coming at them. So I think you take away that run game. This defense, look, this is what I know. It sounds crazy. This offense sucks, and I say we're going to go to the Super Bowl. This defense legitimately looks like they could be better than they were last year. They're younger. They're faster. They got more depth at the edge. They got more depth at the linebacker position.
You're nowhere in the secondary like you were a year ago.
Yeah, but how much
you
help
don't have a Gardner Johnson in the slide at that level of a year ago.
I agree with that. But I mean, how much better did Adoree look last night? Remember, there was a 4th down play. Okay, a 4th down play. The Lions run the 3-yard line.
I'll give you 22 Super Bowl run that they could look like
4th
Bradbury.
down, 4th down inside the 5, the Lions had. Okay? Jared Goff is clearly looking for Amon-Ra St. Brown streaking across the back of the end zone. He had to force and rush that ball out because the pass rush was right in his face. If he had another second and a half, he might have completed that pass on Adoree Jackson. But Adoree is made better because he doesn't have to stick him as longer because the pass rush is getting to the quarterback so quick. So
I don't think you're as deep as a year ago, too.
I don't know, dude.
You lose Phillips at the edge, you're finished.
Yeah, but if we lost Josh Sweat last year, same thing.
Well, you still had Huff on the team, but he was a liability. So
Huff didn't play in the Super Bowl or any of the playoff
nope,
games.
they deactivated him for that game. I thought you were deeper in the secondary because you had Isaiah.
We were definitely deeper in the secondary.
I think you're better at linebacker this year.
Better at linebacker, agreed.
I think you're better.
You were better at safety last year. Reed was better last year, and CJ was better than Makuba has been. But Makuba hasn't been a liability.
No.
He's actually been kind of a pleasant surprise for a rookie.
No, I have no problem with Makuba or John Campbell.
No, me neither. I think they're both look like good picks so far.
Okay, the Kobe Dean now.
I'm paying him.
Even if
about the injuries,
you don't give a shit about his history. I guarantee you the Eagles do.
I know they do. That's part of the bargain. But you're going to let that guy leave? Look at what the defense has become since he returned to the field. It's not just Jalen Phillips. And by the way, I know this is
the rest of the season.
If he gets hurt again, yeah, he's probably gone. But I'm hopeful. I mean, and go back to college. I get it. College is way different. The Kobe Dean literally made that Georgia defense hum. Now, he didn't get all the stats. He didn't get all the accolades, and he didn't get all the records. But he had Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in front of him on that Georgia defense. He brings this defense together. He allows everybody to play better. He's a smart football player. He's a great leader on the team. He's vocal. He's the red dot. He allows Zach Bond to play a different role out there. He gives Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter more confidence. They got a great understanding of each other's game. And that's why you see Nakobe Dean. I mean, dude, Nakobe Dean was shooting gaps yesterday. Like, he was a fucking missile.
He was great.
A missile downfield. That's because he's got a great understanding of the two guys in front of him and how they play football. I would keep Nakobe Dean. Now, I get it.
I thought the play of the game was him going down the sidelines with Gibbs.
Yeah. How about that, by the way? He looks better in coverage this year than he did last year. Coming off a major knee injury, leg injury, whatever it was.
I was stunned when I saw him, and then Collinsworth pointed that out, and I was like, damn, dude, you can't pay enough for that.
Can you get Dean for $8 to $10 million a year?
With an escalator in there? Maybe. I don't. You know what? I think here's what you have to ask. If you're Dean and you're talking to your agent, okay, if you go on the open market, somebody's going to pay you more dough. But are you going to be in a position where you're in an organization that has great players around you that really likes you the way that they do? Are you going to take $3 or $4 million less to play another 7 years in Philly, where you go somewhere like Arizona and you play 2 years and you're out, you're injured because you're on a shitty team?
Yeah,
but
I think
grab
Nakobe
the bag of money. I'm going to take the 7 years.
I mean, and I think Nakobe will too. I think Nakobe will too, honestly. Now, I can't speak for the guy, and I'm not trying to count his pockets or make a decision for him, obviously. He's going to make those decisions.
Well, they're going to ask for 17.
Dean strikes me as a guy that wants to stay in Philly.
If you're paying Bond, they're going to ask for 17-4 also, dude.
You know the other thing about Dean, too? How much better has he filled out his body physically? Did you see him blow up David Montgomery on that blitz last night?
I did.
He fucking
ran right through him.
And David Montgomery is not Jahmyr Gibbs. He's 230 pounds, dude.
And good in the pocket. Like, he's a good pass protecting guy. The other guy, Gibbs, isn't.
I mean, he blew Montgomery up. Blew him up.
Here's another guy that's not getting enough love. Do you know who's playing fucking really, really good football right now?
Huh.
Dude, Moro Jomo.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Is rounding out as a hell of a player. Are you going to extend him in the offseason? Or are you going to let another guy walk out the building?
I think they're letting Nolan go.
Milton Williams is having a great year in New England. Are you going to let another guy, another young prospect walk away?
You think there's any ego involved in this decision? That's a 7th-round pick, man. That's a 7th-round pick.
That is a gold mine pick.
Gold mine. Even if he walks, it's a gold mine pick.
Gold mine. Mulata is a fucking gold mine pick. You got that guy in the 7th.
It's just tough because I got to pay Jordan and Jalen Carter. Do you agree with that? Are you on the pay Jordan or are you still wait and see? You're not there yet. I can see
it's
it.
Got to make. Don't you tell me all the time? You can't pay them all.
Well, I think Nolan's, and by the way, we just added 2 guys that we had this conversation.
You understand that you're going to have to start shredding money off that offense then?
Yeah, 100%. And in hindsight, there's 2 bad contracts that they signed this summer.
Cam.
Jordan and Barkley. We didn't need to give Barkley that extra extension.
No.
I get it. You rewarded him for a massive season. I understand. But that's going to be tougher to get off of. AJ's probably gone. Let's be real. Goddard's going to be gone. I mean, they might blow the offense up. Why wouldn't they? It produces like a bottom unit, and they're paying it like a top unit.
And you draft an old lineman in the 1st round.
Yeah, right.
Because, look, here's your situation. Ajomo, Phillips, Carter, and Davis. Those are 4 guys in your D-line alone.
Dude, remember, we had this problem before we talked about paying Phillips, and we all talked about Dean as gone. Now we're all like, pay Phillips and pay Dean. That doesn't change. You got to pay Morrow, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship. They're still far out of Makuba. Like, who's going? Reed's gone.
Smith's
gone. Nolan, I think Nolan could be traded this summer.
17's too high for me to pick.
Or they'll just extend it out as far as they can.
Yeah. Dude, Hunt's getting better too.
That's what I mean. You feel better about Hunt. I feel better about Hunt.
Absolutely. Phillips has changed everything.
Who would you pay, Morrow Jomo or Nolan Smith, if you could only take one?
Morrow Jomo.
Easily. Me too.
Morrow Jomo.
Now, here's the problem. I don't think you can pay 3 defensive tackles, right?
No, get this, and here's the thing. If you're going to pay $34 million and $35 million will go for Carter, you're really going to turn around and pay $25 million for another defensive tackle and then pay $28 million on Phillips? And then Morrow Jomo, you're going to give him $17, $18 million?
What do you think Jalen Phillips is going to get?
28.5, something like that.
So
shit, I thought he was going to get 25. Now, again, in the rest of the season is going to dictate so much so. I mean, look, Reed's gone. Bro, there's no way. Bond's got 1 more year on this team. Because if you're going to pay Nakobe, he's only got 1 more year. You're not going to pay 3 linebackers fucking $17 million. Or 2 linebackers, $17 million. And you got a 1st rounder, you took it 31st pick, right? Because then you're going to have Campbell. You got to start prepping Campbell to start taking over for Bond. Bond's the odd guy out here. Bond's the older player. Bond's the most expensive player. Remember, you're trying to get better and cheaper.
I'm trying to look at what the value is right now. Let's sign Jalen Phillips to an extension here. Let me see what it looks like.
As for market value, his market value is probably going to be between 28 and 30 million, maybe 31 million. Dude, he's been a force out there. And he got better. I thought he was better than the Green Bay game.
I don't see a market value. They're not giving me one. They normally give it in the offseason, but they don't give it to me right now.
By
Yeah,
the way,
I think the market value is at least $25 million a year.
we're going to read all super chats. We appreciate everybody. We're going to do that here in a couple minutes here. By the way, Gary Cobb's going to join us at 4:30, so we'll get to these here in a second. You bring Barkley back?
Saquon, I mean, how do you get rid of him? I don't think you can get rid of him after that new deal. If it was the original deal, it would be easy to move on from him after this year. Because they signed 3-year deals, but they all have outs after 2 years. So remember, even Bond, too, after next year, it won't be that hard to move on Bond. They're not getting rid of Bond this offseason, guys. He's fucking a machine.
Not this one. Not this one.
No, not this upcoming
I'm talking the following one.
Bond is a beast, dude.
He was spectacular last night, too. Dude, Jalen Phillips has added, and dude, Jacoby Dean has added speed to the entire unit. I mean, they just look faster and more. Hey, when you blitz him too, I'll tell you one thing that is becoming really evident. When they bring him on pressure, he gets home.
Who, Dean?
Yeah, he gets home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he does. Dude, he's a monster. He's a monster. I mean, he's a freaking machine. Yeah, dead cap hits are huge on Saquon. Massive. $38 million.
I think the Eagles have to be exceptionally disappointed in what they're watching with him right now. He's on pace for like 1,000 yards. I mean, I don't believe that, you know. Oh, by the way, one last thing before we read these.
Do you think the fan base is turning on Jalen Hurts?
I think half of it is. I think the problem is now that
I don't want to call my boy out here, but my boy was a big Jalen Hurts guy. I love Jalen, but his time has come. I can't wait until I wake up and Jalen Hurts is not on the team. Look, his picture's fucking Jalen Hurts in a Kango at the fucking parade.
All of his deficiencies are being exposed a little bit. But why there's no conversation really in the building? It's because it is 8-2. It is. It's the only reason that it's not on fire right now. Do you know that? Because you're overrated and overhyped right now in offense. It's just not good, dude. It's just not really. There's not one redeeming quality about that except the most important thing in winning. I don't know, man. I mean,
look, I'm going to start it with what I came on the show and started with. We're a defensive team. I'm done caring about this offense. We just beat the Lions and the Packers with putrid offensive outputs. Awful offensive outputs. We beat those guys. I think we can beat anybody. You're right. It's going to be hard. You're right. The margin is small. But I trust Vic Fangio. I trust this defense. They're getting better each and every week. They're gelling better. I mean, that team, that unit looks like a unit, right? You see this offense. They don't talk to each other on the sideline. They're tweeting. You don't see any of that on the defense, man. They're all playing for one another. They're smiling. They're happy. They're high-fiving. They're celebrating. They're cheering. I mean, the defense is this team. This is a defensive football team. I feel good about them.
Do you think that team enjoys this year so far? Do you think they're playing with fun? They're playing and they're having fun? Or do you think this has been a grind so far? Last year it seemed fun. Last year it seemed fun, didn't it, for him? Like showing up to work.
You got to remember that there was some stuff in the year last year too. Remember, there was the
first 4 games.
No, and even later in the year when the passing game wasn't good, there was conversation about it, dude. There was a lot of conversation about it. Not quite to this level, but there was conversation about it. You know?
Do you think if we're talking about it, they're talking about Hurts in the passing game inside that locker room? Not locker room.
Based on what Derek Gunn said, then yes. And Derek Gunn wouldn't put that out there for no reason. He's not he doesn't care to get clickbaits. He doesn't care. Believe me, I worked with him for 5 years, 3 years. I know he doesn't care. He's again, you can not like his report, but he wouldn't put that out there if somebody on good authority didn't tell him that. I'm telling you right now. I know the way D-Gun works. So there's some truth to somebody in the room, whether it's coaches, whether it's players, Whether it's the front office, I happen to believe
blowing up now.
I happen to believe it's more front office. I do.
You think somebody in the front office told Derek Gunn?
I'm not saying I think that. I'm saying I think what he was saying is about the front office. Remember, he's very closely connected with Howie Roseman. He's very closely connected with Dom DeSandro. He's very closely connected with a lot of those guys. And if you're Howie, isn't this making you look bad?
Yeah.
You paid all these dudes on offense, and the offense sucks. It's not clickbait journalism, roll Philly. That's what people like you think because you don't like what's being talked about.
That's right.
He don't fucking lie. He doesn't give clickbait, bro.
No.
He never does. And by the way, you were wrong about him speculating. I went and listened to it. You were wrong, roll Philly.
Of course
you gave me shitty information.
Right. Well, what happens, again, Xander, in this kind of conversation is that I'm a talk show host. I'm not a reporter. He's a reporter, dude. That's his reputation on stake. So let's get to these supers, dude. I'll tell you what, man. You are without a doubt the best team to cover I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen a team just win in a match. You said it great. You're the Cowboys with a winning record.
Yeah, that's what we are. It's great. It's great. I mean, it really is. Give me 1 second, making sure Cobb is set up with the link.
Bro, I'm going to get Angelo tomorrow, too.
Look, HKP, I bullied him into changing his profile picture to Jalen Phillips. Let's go right to my boy here. A massive banger from Walkell for $50. Thank you, brother. He said, love this channel. You guys are great. And you're the exact type of guy that we made this channel for. All right? Not for the Glazers and the glazed donut factory from Krispy Kreme, like Roll Philly Dogs is. He says, love this channel. You guys are great. Dan has it absolutely right on the offense. Can't wait for Angelo's take. Best, Bill K. Thank you, Bill.
We will do that with Angelo tomorrow. By the way, one last thing before you get on to another super here. Do you agree with my take that the philosophy has taken its toll on that offensive line because you're not balanced in trying to spread the ball around? The tush push is taking its toll finally on the offensive line. There's no coincidence that every guy that played in that line has had some type of injury, right? Every guy that played, even Micaiah Becton's injured out there. And you've got Barkley, who's been injured, or not injured, has been slowed up this year. I mean, every guy. And because you went one dimension.
You know, Stills, I'm looking forward to hearing from G Cobb today. I talked to G Cobb on Friday on Birds 365, and Gary, we're just going to win with this defense now. We don't even if you were going to get got, it was by the Lions, and they didn't get them. Like, I'm really starting to believe we might not even need this offense to get going. This defense is becoming so damn good. I get it. It's a thin line to walk, but let's go to Pumper. He says, I mean, Jalen Hurts gives none of his eaters my ammo. It's getting astronomically hard. Can't wait for Tanner at the helm. Stogie will be ready. Holy moly.
Tanner McKee, baby, the backup quarterback, the most popular guy on every
team. AJ before giving Tanner a shot. All right, we have like a Tanner army in this chat now.
Because they want to see a passer.
I think they just want to see an offense that's not this incompetent.
That's right.
Yeah. Abe says, change the philosophy to draft for O and pay for D. Abe, that might be what happened.
Okay.
Abe says, this may look like a whole new offense next year. Goddard re-signed, Lane last season, Barkley ? Jalen extension. What is going to happen? There's a lot of conversation there for sure.
Absolutely. I think with the injury to Lane, I'll talk to Gary Cobb in a couple minutes, but I think the injury to Lane has expedited that offensive line. I agree with you, Xander. They're going to, and in the way Phillips is playing, I think they're going to go in that draft and they're going to get an offensive lineman.
Dante says Goddard has to stay. Agree. AJ's gone. Nolan is out. Second, they gave Barkley that deal. It was dumb.
It was dumb. We said, why'd you stay?
Look, I want Goddard to come back because I don't see a replacement that's going to be even half the player he is right now. If you're going to draft a guy or whatever you're going to do. But it does seem bleak considering the financial things that are coming up with the defense.
Correct.
Here's Big Marsh. This is actually a good take here. I mean, it's unpopular, but it's fair to think about from a business perspective. Unpopular view. I can see them paying Dean on a friendly deal and trading Bond so Campbell can play and free up cash.
Yeah, I can
That's a lot
too.
of money on Bond.
Okay, but you drafted Campbell for a reason, dude.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a fourth
And
rounder.
Dean will be cheaper.
Yep. And then your line, but get this right. You'll be cheaper on a
Because then
friendly
Campbell
deal.
can play that Bond role.
Absolutely. And I don't think that that's a reach.
All right, a couple more here. Javier says, Nick Sirianni is the modern-day Barry Switzer. He doesn't do anything but motivate the team. He benefits from good coordinators and a talented roster.
And stupid fourth down decisions.
Oh, that was so dumb last night.
That was so dumb.
I think that's a little far on Nick. I'm not going to go that far. But I think you got to get some credit, man. He's got the best winning percentage in modern football next to Vince Lombardi. Come on. But I hear you. Pumper says, fellas, that was a great game with the D-line, linebackers, and cornerbacks. Those two safeties are horrific. No sugarcoating those two guys' inability to be
awful. I didn't think they were awful yesterday. I didn't think anybody in that back end was awful yesterday. I really didn't.
Ryan says, you see AJ and Smitty clowning Hurts during Jalen's pregame. I didn't see that.
I didn't either.
Howard says, I was an equipment manager with the undefeated 15-0 Marshall Thundering Herd. We are Marshall. Look at that. Football team in 1996 with Chad Pennington and Randy Moss. And talk about loafing. Randy loafed enough to fill a bread store that year. That's what John says. He covered Randy Moss in Minnesota.
If the play wasn't front side, he would take the backside play off. By the way, Howard, 55 years that tragedy happened this past week when the Marshall Thundering Herd plane went down. So I know that that's a big deal that goes on there each and every
seen that movie?
I have.
Yeah,
We Are Marshall. Yeah, that's a great movie and true story.
Yeah. Paul says, I wonder if Vic looks at Dean and sees the field mouse Sam Mills.
I don't know, man. He looks like a bullet out there. His nickname should be Bullet.
He's really good. Freddie says, was Patullo hired because Eagles thought Frank would be here to help him grow? We need him to join us soon. Maybe give the offense a spark. I don't know if that's going to fix it.
Bro, Frank may be here after November 29th. That's the last game against Notre Dame for Stanford.
Two more here. A couple more. East Coast says, they asked Nick to tie his shoes and he started zipping up his coat. Nick doesn't have common sense.
I think Kevin Patullo will have a tough time with a combination lock, bro.
Here's Najib says, dog, I just missed the touchdown passes from Hurts to Brown, the celebration, the gritty. It's so boring now. Yeah, go watch Eagles 22 highlights. It'll make you depressed. They look completely different. Hugh says, yo, Z, like I said before, rain, sleet, or snow, fire Patullo. He's limited, man. He can't call a full game plan with this offense.
Boy, he cannot, man.
All right, Sills, I'm looking forward to hearing what Chica. He's got to be fired up about the linebacker play, right? I mean, their linebackers.
Absolutely.
All right, Sills, good stuff, man.
All right, brother. We'll catch you in the morning, man, at Birds 365. Thank you, brother.
Later, dude.
You got it. Make sure you guys check out Birds 365. By the way, man, we got a ton of stuff to get to with Gary Cobb. There's a Derek Gunn report going around that Jalen Hurts is a poor leader in the locker room right now and that the organization is having issues. Lane Johnson with Liz Frank injury. That offense is awful, but I'll tell you what, if you're a defensive-minded guy like Gary Cobb of Fox 29, you've got to be thrilled to death. Without further ado, our friend G Cobb joins us now. And G Cobb, boy, I'll tell you, man, why don't we start with the good? And we'll start with the defense first. And then you can roll into the offense here. So give me your takeaways on what you saw with that win. And by the way, impressive as it is, you beat Green Bay and Detroit within inside of 6 days, which is pretty insane. So give me your takeaways right off the top here.
Well, I think, of course, it starts with the guys up front defensively. They did a great job. And, I knew it with regards to Goff. I mean, I've seen him where if you put pressure on him, he falls apart. I mean, really, you look at the talent they've got. I mean, how many guys did he miss? The guy just running just a crossing route, wide open. You throw the ball on the ground, you throw it over his head. I mean, how many times did he do it? Throw the ball into the ground. I mean, we're really seeing why the Rams head coach got rid of him. You see why he worked out that trade, because when he doesn't have pressure on him, I mean, he's lethal. You can see how he can throw the ball and everything. You saw on those 3 plays, bam, 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 touchdown. But he's a guy who he cannot perform with the pressure on him. And you know what? The good teams in the league, and this is unfortunate. I mean, he did make it to a Super Bowl, but for the most part, you know, he's gonna fold, because the good teams are gonna be able to get some pressure on him. You got to be able to perform, and he just doesn't get it done with the pressure on him. And that was really the key to the game. I mean, he did not take advantage of getting the ball, and they got weapons. I mean, some of these guys are scary with how fast they are.
That kid Gibbs is insane.
Oh man, I wouldn't want anything to do with him, man.
He is. I mean, he was a weapon out there, but I mean, yeah. Gary, you know, also to the run game, they held him to 74 yards rushing. That was also another one, but man, you've got to be impressed with Vic Fangio and what he's done. And do you agree, Gary? The addition of Jalen Phillips and the insertion of Nakobe Dean on defense has changed the entire defense, where that thing looks fast and it completely looks competent like it did a year ago.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, you see when they added Nakobe, right away, you see there was an element added, because he's so aggressive. And the thing about it is, I mean, if you hear him over there, when he talks to the guy, he's the leader of that defense, really. I mean, he's able to get them in the huddle, man, and the guys respect him, you know. And you see how hard he plays, you know, the guys respect him. So having him back, that was a shot in the arm. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, Jahad Campbell, you know, he's not going to be able to play as much. They're going to be able to work him in. And he still has got to, you know, they get him on there for some plays, because he's such a talent. I mean, you got to work him in there. But Nakobe, he brings a fire, man. He brings an aggressiveness that they needed. And then, you know, you add, you know, when you add, you know, Phillips, man, you know, you added him, you got a pass rusher coming from outside who, when he comes, he makes a difference. He makes the quarterback move. He affects the quarterback. He's going to get either in his, you know, somewhere where he's close enough to where it makes the quarterback uncomfortable, especially a guy like Goff. And I knew that he was going to be affected, because every time I've seen him, when he's got pressure on him, he's not the same quarterback. Look how many people he missed. Guys were wide open. I'm going like, how did he miss that guy?
And Gary, by the end of the game, the receivers had alligator arms, because they didn't want any of that pressure in the back end was coming along with it too. I mean,
that's right.
God, I mean, the stuff that Vic has done has been remarkable. Now,
he's got a great feel for the game. I mean,
his pressure and the way he brings pressure, doesn't he have a wonderful feel for calling defenses?
He's got a great feel for it. And he's really a guy he's not going to go overboard with the blitzes. You know, he's depending on his pass rushes to get pressure, but then every now and then he's going to send a blitz. Really, at the most opportune time, he's going to send that blitz. But he wants to make an effect upon the quarterback. That's who he's really playing head games with, is with the quarterback. And he knows if this guy's going a while where he hasn't had some pressure, he hasn't been hit, then you always know that, you know, there's going to be a blitz coming unless they get to him, because he knows that the quarterback needs to be feeling some pressure. And he's very big on that. And he knows that even if you just make him move, so he's uncomfortable, if he's got somebody in his face a bit. And the guys did a great job also with getting their hands up and getting their hands on balls that were hitting. I mean, you know, that's frustrating for a quarterback. He got a guy wide open and the ball gets knocked down by one of the defensive tackles, you know, and those guys, I've seen them out there on practice working on that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
Clint Hurt.
What's that?
That's Clint Hurt.
That's right. They work on that. It's not an accident. And you know, you got some big guys in there who you know, especially, you know, I mean, big 90s Jordan, man.
How about Jordan Davis, man? He's played pretty well this year, huh?
Yes, he's really come on. He's developing and becoming a better player every year. And, that whole mentality there, which is guys are working, trying to get better. They're working on the drills, trying to get better. And the thing is, they don't just have them doing stuff where they're just out there going through the motions. There's some practices you go to, you're going like, when are you going to do that? They got them working on the drills and the different techniques they're going to need in order to have a hand in the game, whether it is getting their hands up or, being able to beat the guy that's blocking them and working on their technique. And that's why they're getting better as pass rushers. So I really take my hat off to Vic. He does a great job of coaching and everything. So, but I expected the offense, though, to play better. That's the thing.
Let me get to the offense here, Gary. I mean, why so incompetent? I mean, the whole thing, I said this and I'm going to continue saying it. It's the most underachieving, the most overpaid offense in pro football. I mean, they just can't get out of their way. Why?
Well, one thing, of course, it's the offensive line. You got guys, they're not healthy, it's still not back there. But they weren't able to really get the running going to the way they wanted to. Even though they did run the ball pretty good.
148.
We'll take that. But the passing game, my goodness. I mean, the incompletions and the
drops.
creativity.
The drops.
You got to give Detroit is more creative with their passing game.
Yeah.
The Eagles passing game, it's the same old thing. I mean, they are not being creative, and they're not really attacking. Let's say where you're attacking one side of the field, you're putting a certain player really in a tough situation. And I see where some of them, they just haven't been as disciplined with running some of the routes. Some of the routes, guys right on top of each other. What's going on? You got veteran players. Why is this route where you guys are right on top of each other? I mean, that's undisciplined, but they've got to play better. Jalen has to play better. I didn't think he was his decision-making and accuracy, which are two big things with the quarterback, which you can't say he had a good game either way with either one of those. And it really was a defensive win. I mean, the defense led the win. But offensively, how could you get excited about scoring 16 points? Come on.
With that offense and with that money you're spending on that side of the ball. Now, I want to ask you about Hurts here.
Yeah.
So there's a report being floated around that the organization is not happy with him and that there's kind of like a disconnect between him, the head coach, and the approach, and that Jalen's refusing to do a lot of things inside the preparation for the game when it comes to the game plan. Now, maybe this is part of the frustration that AJ feels. Maybe this is part because I'll tell you one thing I haven't heard, Gary. I haven't heard one player disagree with AJ. And my comment was always this, and this, the voice of the huddle and the voice of offense and the team is usually the quarterback. How come the quarterback is never the vocal guy in this thing here? Just those reports. It's not me, believe it or not, it's not me reporting this. It's a guy like Derek Gunn who's around the organization, and he's over there a lot. He's got access to the building. He's a very credible guy on this.
No doubt about it. I know Derek. I know. Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah. Well, I think that some of this is Nick and some of it is Jalen. I understand where they're coming from. I mean, in certain ways, okay. I think that their number one goal and the thing that they believe in the most is take care of the football. Do not fumble. If you're going to lead, if you're going to have more turnovers than the team you're playing, the chances are very high you're going to lose the game. So every game they are against anything that is going to cause a turnover, going to turn the ball over. They are averse to any turnovers, and so that is the number one thing. You see it really last year at the beginning of the season, they were turning the ball over. Jalen was turning the ball over. That was after the fourth game of the season. They had some talks. They were having meetings, because after the fourth game, they didn't have they had the week off that week, last year. And the thing that came out is we are not turning the ball over. We don't care what else we're doing. We're not turning over the ball. Even if we got to give something up with yardage, even if we got to be boring, we're not turning over the football. And, with the way the defense came on, and you see yesterday, hey, you can say whatever you want against them the week before. You can say whatever you want. They're winning. Now I say, hey, we got to be more, we got to do more offensively. The first thing they're going to say is, if you look at the stats, next to the score of the game, the number one stat is who turns the ball over more. And so, can you argue with them? In certain ways, can you argue with them? They got one ring, they got the best record in the NFC.
So, Gary, do you think that conversation and that report is a non-starter for you? Nobody cares that the guy doesn't really see and is on the same page, and he's got no. If that report is true, it's that Jalen doesn't want to be really part of what the game plan is, and that's
going a little far,
Okay, well, I'm not saying it.
I know. Now, some of these guys might feel that way, but clearly he's not to that point. The thing is, he's conservative, meaning if it's any doubt, he's not throwing the ball in a crowd. If there's any doubt, he's leaning on that way, and part of that is Nick. Part of that's Nick, because when we're over there, when listening to Nick, and he will mention and talk about taking care of that football, and that's one thing they preach over there is taking care of the ball. That turnovers next to the score of the game, is the number one decider on whether you're going to win or lose.
You're right.
And when you see the stats, you can't help now. Like, look how bad they played this year. Offensive, look how they're 8-2.
I know.
And look at the team. They haven't been playing against, Miami and whoever, some of the bad teams in the league. That's not who they've been playing. They've been playing against the best teams in the league. And as ugly as it is, it's ugly football. They're 8-2, and they're very, very easily could be even better than that. So I understand and see. Really, Jalen said a little bit after everybody took they turned their mics off and everything. They turned their over there yesterday after the game, and he's saying, hey, as ugly as this, we won. We're trying to win. What do we need to do to win? And Nick is in Jalen's ear about taking care of the ball. Now, I think you can go too far, like whether you're going to make this throw or make that throw. But, I still think they're going to have to, if they're going to win the Super Bowl again, I think they're going to have games where they got to score some points. But the thing that that is a big part of what they're doing, and it's a big part of Jalen, is take care of the football.
Okay, Gary, do you believe that Father Time is catching up with Lane Johnson?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Lane is a guy who works out all off season. He takes care of his body. He's gotten dinged up some. And he has been playing a long time. So, I can understand that.
Out 4 to 6. What kind of impact do you think that has on the team?
Well, it's definitely going to hurt him. That doesn't help him. They got a pretty good backup for him initially, but then after him now if you want to bring extra offensive linemen on there, of course your depth is not as good as it was because he was your best backup offensive lineman. So that's going to make things tougher now, but I think they'll be all right. You see how that they can play with him. And he's a pretty good ball player, and he'll do a good job in there. The only thing is, of course, it just makes you where you can't afford any other. You can't afford any other, injuries. So it makes things tougher. But I'm very interested like with regards to them coming out about everything. I think more and more things are going to be coming out. But the whole thing with this turnover thing, and if Jalen, well, I guess he probably tells him, look, if you think there's going to be any chance of a turnover, then don't throw the ball. How many times you look downfield, you don't throw the ball?
Yeah.
And, it's frustrating looking at it. But as I said, they're winning.
All right.
Can you argue with winning?
How about this one? Barkley. I asked this question every week to you, and I asked it to Xander too. I mean, is there something wrong with Saquon Barkley? Because it's funny, when I saw Tank Bigsby get in there, it looked like there was a burst of energy when he hit them holes. And then when I watch Barkley, it's almost like I'm watching Reggie Bush doing those dances that he thought he was going to do.
He's dancing. That's right. You see the dancing, and he's not hitting the hole and things. And then for somebody else to get in there and hit a hole, and get yardage, this is it's definitely an issue they got. I mean, he is just dancing. You see him like, man, get up in the hole. There's 4 yards, and get to 4 yards. If you dance, then you get caught in the backfield. Or either you get caught in the backfield, or it's 0 with the yards. I mean, come on, man. And I think it's legitimate to be critical of him there. Man, you're dancing too much, man. You got to hit the hole.
Hit
what is there. Now, see, when they were playing last year, he could dance a little bit because nobody was getting any penetration, and he's looking for the home run. He's looking for the home run, so he would do that. But when they're not blocking like that, you got to get the 4 yards, man. Get the 4 yards then, because you're in a situation where you can it's either going to be 3rd and 2, or it's going to be 3rd and 8, because you're dancing back there. And, those are legitimate criticisms, but, hopefully things get better because, as much they are winning, and I could, talk about the turnover thing and say, well, they win. Man, I don't think you're going to beat good teams.
Do you think this is with an absolutely atrocious offense and with a spectacular defense? Do you believe, Gary, they can go into the playoffs and win 3 games to win a Super Bowl playing like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think if they get against, let's say, LA, which they're probably the team that's might be the best that I see out there.
Yeah,
and,
they're the best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So LA's going to score some points.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to score points against our defense. So, as good as our defense has been playing. So I think that they got to be thinking that they need to play better. And the thing is, they're capable of playing better. They have been better. With all these same crew, they're capable of playing better. And so I think that's something they got to aim for. I'm sure that Nick is trying to work on getting them there. I can't say that it's the offensive coordinator. It's all him. No, it might be partially, but, in a lot of ways, they're running similar plays. And I think that, if they don't win it, Kevin Patullo, well, he won't be back.
Oh, no.
He will not be the play caller the next time. You better believe they're going to probably make a move to get somebody else.
You think they make a move no matter what, even if they win?
That's not out of the question. That's not out of the question.
The offense is pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how you can you could get excited and want to promote anybody with this offense that we see. I mean, come on. All of the talent you got, you've gotten to where, I don't see creativity. I mean, just with the lines there yesterday, you see the routes they're running. They run these stack routes. In fact, they had St. Brown come in motion, and he's going behind, let's say, the tackle and sneaking through there because the pass rush is coming up, but having him go through there and then running his route and coming down there, let's say he's 15, 20 yards deep when he gets over there. That's ingenious. Why aren't we doing some of this? Everything is just standard stuff. Everything the Eagles do is standard stuff. I don't see creativity really with the offense, you know, you see it with other teams, the things they're doing, because they don't have that kind of talent. And see, I think they just were, well, you know, these guys will be able to run these same routes. I mean, come on. I don't see it, the creativity, but ultimately, you know, they're gonna. I don't see how you put that stuff in right now, but it's a wonder. I mean, the offense is just struggling. Man,
I mean,
struggling as much as
Gary. I mean, just struggling. It's terrible right now.
Yeah.
I got to ask you about Sirianni's fourth down thing. That you know, I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row, Gary. That was a bonehead moves at the end of ball games. You got the game closed up. You got a football team that has struggled. Points were like really tough to get last night because of the wind and all that. I mean, what, you know, I mean, at the end of the game here was his comment, and I'm paraphrasing. He goes, I have trust in my players. And my takeaway was you have trust in your players to cover for a crappy call on fourth down. That was terrible. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, end-game coaching sometimes is a lot. A year ago, we saw that again with like Atlanta, right? I mean, those things pop up every now and then, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And, you know, of course, maybe he got caught up in the atmosphere, which is, you know, what his opponent was doing, you know, with the, you know, come on. I mean, you're going to go for fourth down with 4 or 5 times in a game? I mean, you know, I mean.
I thought Dan Campbell was. I mean, Gary, think about it. It's one thing to be aggressive and not be aggressive. You're on the road. You know the points are tough to get. If you kick the field goal, you beat the Eagles.
Come on. You know, I don't. I mean, his aggression has just gotten to where. Come on, you know.
And then he punts at the end, and I went like this. I went, wait a minute. It was like
you're right.
Broke them, right? It was like the Eagles broke them.
That's right. At the end, he punts. I mean, of course, you know, you got different coaches, and you know his. You know, I know he is aggressive, and I think you want to be aggressive. You want to let your players know that you do believe in them, but there's some wisdom with it too.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that was such a close game that if you're going to march downfield like that, you got to come away with some points. Come on, you got to come away with some points. Look at the way it ended up finishing up, where you got a 7-point game, and you don't kick a field goal. I mean, I mean, I don't see that. He does believe in being aggressive and everything, but you know, but the whole key though is Jared Goff, you know, and even though they have a team that, you know, the way they have played, they could be a team that's capable of going to the Super Bowls, capable of winning big games and everything. But see, with Jared Goff, when you get against good teams, they're gonna get some pressure on you. You know, I don't care who you got blocking for you. They are going to get some. You are going to have pressure in your face as you are throwing the ball. If you cannot handle that, then you cannot play in the big games. You are not going to succeed. And he has, you know, fallen apart in big games, man, with against good teams.
I'm going to ask you a personal question here.
Mm-hmm.
If Gary Cobb wanted to play linebacker, what coordinator would you want to play for? Buddy Ryan, which you did play for.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Johnson,
Bud
Carson,
or
Vic Fangio.
Those are all some good coaches. Well, I would probably say would be Bud Carson would be the guy who I thought maybe borrowed from all of those guys. You know, he had some of Buddy in him with aggressiveness.
Well, he started the steel curtain. I mean, he was a steel curtain guy.
You know, and he you know, I wasn't there, but he coached the Eagles, you know, Buddy Ryan's team.
Yep.
And they really had their best year that year, you know. That defense had their best year the year he coached them. I think he was as good as they come. I thought he was, because he had a lot of the same ingredients. He had the ingredients, aggressiveness of Buddy. At the same time, he wasn't as aggressive. And, you know, but I thought he was as good as they come, you know.
Would you
But
agree that Vic belongs in that group?
he
You think
does. He does.
he-
He does.
Have you been, Gary? Has he surprised you how good he's been here?
Well, I guess last year, it doesn't surprise me this year. Last year, I saw him. I saw what he did with the group he had last year with the players, how much better they got as the season goes along. Now you see it's happening again this year. Of course, they did go out and add talent and everything. But the guys, he does a good job of coaching through the weeks. The guys are learning more. And you can see he jabs the guys, he'll jab them pretty good. Let a guy know, man, that was stupid what you did or whatever. Because he wants them to play smart football. He pushes on their intelligence to where, look, play smart football. In this situation, this is probably what you're going to get. So they're anticipating things, and they play a good brand of football. And I tell you that these guys have gotten better as the season goes along. I mean, like every year I'm saying that. I was saying that last year. So, I mean, I haven't seen coaches. That's why I might even, saying I really didn't look at Bud Carson in that way. The way Vic, gets that improvement through the season. So if any reason that I might lean as him making him the top pick of all of them, because he does that better than anybody I've ever seen.
But how can the defense be getting better and the offense is getting worse?
You got two different coaches. You got two different situations. You know that because Vic just does a great job with the and just talking to the players. You see, they're getting smarter, getting knowledgeable about things that are going to be important. Now, of course, they know how important formations are. People like doing certain things out of certain formations. Offensive coordinator has a personality. Certain things he believes in. If he gets in a situation, certain things he's going to. And that's the way most people are. Like, what do they believe in? I mean, something, and so he lets those guys know that. So when they come out, they know what the other team likes to do, and he doesn't feed them too much, meaning that the defensive line lets them play, but he will give them enough to where they will have things that they can tell that are tendencies of the other team. And he has look how every team he has, they get smarter. They play smart football, And so I might just change it with Bud Carson and say Vic is he's as good as I've seen. I mean, I haven't seen a guy get the improvement that he gets out of a group throughout the season. Look at last year. Got to the end of the season, man. They were just like
the number one defense in the NFL. You were like, holy, and we're seeing that again.
We're seeing that again.
Right now. I mean, I'll ask you the last one here. Nakobe Dean. I mean, have you been Gary? There was a time here where we were going like this guy and have you seen this before? A guy gets a hold of somebody and a coordinator gets a hold. Maybe it was Jim Johnson with Hugh Douglas and what he did with Hugh and how he transformed Hugh. Because people told me Hugh didn't want to play the run. So what he did was he just, pinned his ears and let him hit quarterbacks. Yeah. And that's kind of what Hugh did. Is that a little bit like what we're seeing here also with the Kobe Dean that, I mean, Vic just seemingly is getting the best out of everybody here.
Well, last year, really, Kobe was doing this. Only got hurt, and he wasn't able to play in those the playoff games. But Kobe, I mean, Kobe, he's got great leadership. I mean, the guys believe in him, and he's got some fire in him. So in the huddle, he kind of will get the guys fired up, man, and they believe in him. And for guys who's not huge, man, he brings it.
He does.
He brings everything he's got, man. And then because, he's kind of short, he got leverage. And he uses that. He gets underneath guys. You see when he's pass rushing against those backs.
He blew right through them.
Because he knows they don't really want to block. You know what I mean?
No. He knew that.
If we can make this painful, these guys do not really want to block.
Okay? That's right.
You can make this painful. And so he makes it a point. He really will give a fake, whatever. He wants to run right, put his chin right under, put his right under their chin, because we know This guy wants to score touchdowns. He wants to do the dance in the end zone. He does not want to be in here blocking. And so he makes him pay, boy. And I tell you, he's exposed every one of them, man.
Man, hey, you want to sit back and pass protection? We're going to find out how much you want to pass protect because we're going to test your courage. He tests your courage when he runs in there.
He tests your courage. You better believe it.
Absolutely.
And they thought they were, by putting Montgomery in there, who's their best blocker. See,
blew him up.
He blew him up, man. He blew him up.
Gary, you can't win. You can't win a Super Bowl playing like this, though.
No. That's why I say, and you think about, the Rams, their head coach. He said, Jared Goff, boom, he got rid of him. He made that trade because he showed himself. And you see, when it gets hot, Jared Goff doesn't want any part. When the stuff gets hot, I mean, he knows, look, my guys are doing everything they can, but they're not going to block these guys. I mean, like, they are going to get there. I got to get rid of them, and I'm going to get hit. He knows, look, I am going to get hit. And, he folds up, man.
Gary is the best
even though he's still out there playing the game, in a lot of ways, he's already in the locker room, taking a shower, getting ready to get in the car and get out of there,
Gary, is this the best linebacking core you've seen in Philadelphia, maybe in the last 20 years?
I'd say, yeah, they got a lot of good qualities. Yeah, I would probably say so. Yeah,
even that Chris Long group.
Yeah, even the Chris Long group. This is a good group. This is a good group, and it's hard to say that. I mean, it's hard for me to say who's, because they haven't played the whole season. They only played a number of games together. But a lot of the qualities, man. Just over there and get to go in the locker room and talk to some of the guys. Man, they got a great group. They're guys are all trying to get better. They're trying to get smarter. And they do a great job of the physical and mental parts of the game. So I take my hat off to them. But
let me get one last win on you here.
Yeah,
Jordan Davis, you extending him?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna play another one with you. Moro Joma, you extending him? He's up for an extension.
I'm gonna still have to wait to see that because you got to think about how much money you're gonna spend because
Jalen Phillips now is
Jalen Phillips is a guy that would probably be ahead. He's going to be a guy coming off that corner. But you see what he gives you. He's a good pass rusher and he plays the run well. See, a lot of times a guy doesn't do both. But he plays the run and he gives you good pass rush. He's definitely a guy that I think would move into the lead, a guy I want to keep around. And,
who I think has slid down the pole a little bit? I think it's Nolan Smith because I'm starting to see Jalix Hunt more. And I'll tell you what, Jalen Phillips and Jalix Hunt as my edge rushers,
hey,
I'm not feeling too bad about that there. And, this guy was a first-round draft choice. If you pick the fifth-year option up, that's 17.5.
Yeah.
I don't know about that right now because I don't know.
It's going to get interesting. I didn't even realize all that, but in thinking about Nolan, you start talking about the money and everything, but this thing is going to get very interesting because
are you going to move AJ Brown in the offseason?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of am I. I think they are.
Way to throw it at him.
Think about it. I could tell by, you could just tell where I think in the atmosphere, that,
Gary, here, listen to this. Listen to this here. Here's Nolan Smith. Or excuse me, here's A.J. Brown. 38 catches for 457 yards in 9 games so far this year.
No, I mean,
do you think he's lost a step, or do you think it's the offense?
Probably, a combination of the two. I definitely think offensively because even with Devontae, Devontae's very good, but I think that offense, they got to do some things. I mean, they got to make it more creative and put more pressure on the defense. I'm disappointed with what they're doing so far. We'll see, man, because you know about the whole thing with the turnover stuff. So anyway.
I got you, G-Cobb. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, G-Cobb.
All right, hey, take it easy. Have a good one.
You bet it. That is Gary Cobb. We will talk more about the pathetic offense known as the Philadelphia Eagles. What a shitty offense. I mean, man, good God. It's so bad. And that defense is so good. Man. Yeah. Getting rid of A.J. Brown. Barkley long in the tooth. And Lane getting old. How you doing? Woo! Okay. Absolutely true. Is it time to move A.J. Brown? Hold on here. I'm getting something. Okay. Okay. I'm getting something here. And I just got something from Big Z too, and I got something else. Inside that locker room, they have a problem with Jalen Hurts' leadership. How you doing? And we're going to hit on this here. Wow. Yeah. Oh, my God. So I just got an email. And, yeah, shit's hitting the fan. Holy cow. Hurts' leadership. And AJ's at the point where he's going to be demanding a trade in the offseason. And Barkley, long in the tooth. We still got a whole shitload long in the tooth, along with Lane. Wow. Hurts' leadership now being questioned. Number one injury law firm in all of the world, in all of America, is Morgan & Morgan. For the reasons that I tell you all the time. It's because they win with thousands of attorneys, coast to coast. The reason that they win is because they battle for you and your family. I told you about the family that was in Pennsylvania that initially was offered $625,000. They ended up getting $19 million for him. Or a family down in Florida who was offered initially $350,000 on a settlement. They ended up getting, again, an opportunity to get them $12 million. Here's the beautiful thing, too, about Morgan & Morgan. They don't get paid unless you win. As simple as that. Okay? Simple as that. So do me a favor. This will be the easiest decision if you've ever been hurt at work. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Love 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you. Yeah!
There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. There's a reason Detective...
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident,
He called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the jet setters and the high rollers, to the shot takers and the tastemakers. Welcome to the viewfinders, the thrill seekers, and the night owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
You got a problem with your quarterback. Coaches are pointing all these bad plays out to the guy in film session. And he's not taking the coaching. Guys are sitting in the meetings with him, showing him where he's missing throws. And it's becoming frustrating to the coaches that the guy is missing throws. By the way, this is Seth Joyner and others. And others are now sending me text messages going, he's difficult to coach. So get this, folks. Some of you in here are not going to want to hear it. But the quarterback is not listening because they're winning. The coaches are trying to coach him. He don't want to hear it. His attitude is, as long as they win, I don't need your coaching. And so, in my opinion, you got coaches that are saying one thing to the kid. Look, why are you missing this throw? He's saying, I'm not going to risk the throw for an interception. That's his attitude. So this shit's going to make one hell of an offseason. I thought last year was funny. This one's going to be hilarious. Kyle, you got a guy who doesn't want to be coached by his coaches. By the way, these aren't my reports. These are other people that are in the building telling other media people that walk into the building on a daily basis. And not some fucking douchebag like M. Reyes in a fucking chat. These are people that actually have a job, that go in and do their job covering the team. It's by the way, it's multiple people. You have Diana Rossini, who's a well-respected national writer. You have a local guy, and you have a former legend that is also reporting this. And now I'm getting some text messages from people that are in the building going, Little difficult to coach. Hearsay, your boyfriend is not coachable. I want to show you something here. Seals is so stupid. The offense ran from Nick and Kevin. Why is the run game so bad? The run game is so bad because your offensive line is not playing well. Why is your fucking passing game absolutely pathetic again? See this here? You just don't want to hear the truth because you're a glazed donut. A glazed donut. Sills regurgitates WIP takes. What a clown. Bro, I listen to sound bites of some of their stuff. Why would I listen to shitty radio? Honestly. Why would I listen to a glazed donut like you? See this? Here's another guy that fucking doesn't want to hear it. Get this. Whatever. Your quarterback doesn't want to be coached. Now, is he wrong? I never thought Jalen Hurts had respect for Nick Sirianni. I never have. Why would he? I never said Jalen was wrong. Who in the world would want to be coached by him? Who makes those decisions that end ball games? I'm not sure I disagree with him. And here's something if you're Jalen Hurts to think about. Why would I listen to a guy I know more than? You think Kevin Patullo knows more than Jalen Hurts? How many people in here? Let's do this. Let's ask this question. How many people in here think that Kevin Patullo knows more than Jalen Hurts when it comes to putting a game plan together? The guy's never called a play in his life. I mean, does anybody in here actually think? Because this goes down the line of what Tom Brady said. Why in the world would Jalen Hurts listen to a guy that's never done it? I wouldn't. Dude, what do you know? I've been to 2 Super Bowls. I've got a 6-3 record in the fucking postseason. And you hire some guy that's never in a million years ever run an offense before. The guy's never done shit. The pass routes, do they have any more plays than go routes? I mean, any? Is there any creative? By the way, the 2 tight end thing that they're doing is dumb. Why are you putting those guys on the field? Dumb. Dude, get this. Jalen versus KP, Sirianni, and AJ. Sounds to me why your passing game is all fucked up. Two things can be true because KP and Nick still suck together. They're not very good. Absolutely. There's zero creativity because the head coach and the OC are idiots. I think that's Hurts' point, senor. As a matter of fact, maybe AJ and Hurts aren't wrong. You're winning in spite of these guys. Hey, think about this, senor. Look at how the defense is being run. And look at how much continuity you have over there. Christian Parker, Bobby King, Clint Hurt, Vic Fangio, those guys are all on the same page. Jalen Hurts, Kevin Patullo, Barkley, and AJ, and Nick are not. Do you think there's something in there? Is Hurts and Brown in cahoots? Because like Brown, he hates this conservative approach and is working with Brown off script in games, defying coaches like you did talking a week ago. Okay? If they traded Hurts a year after winning the Super Bowl, it'd be the biggest thing in Howie's career, besides the Super Bowls. Get this. Jalen Hurts, I would never extend that guy. He makes my entire offense shitty. Either that or hire a head coach that's a play-calling head coach to help develop the guy. Dude, your offensive passing game is the worst of any team in the NFL. That's a contending team. And Xander's, get this, you've now made vaunted Eagle fans like Xander Krause relegated to go, well, fuck, that's just us. We blow on offense, and we're going to be great on defense. Holy cow. With no margins for error. You turn the ball over twice, be like an atomic bomb going off. You're going to get destroyed. I mean, is Hurts a bad leader? Or does he not believe in Nick? Hey, by the way, let's go here. Let's ask this question, fundamental question for you. By the way, your defense is the story of the night. And you should take great, great pride in that. That thing has been, everything is advertised. It's wonderful. There is no doubt the coach is doing a great job. Ask yourself this. Do you believe that Jalen Hurts is trusted by Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo? Yes or no? Do you believe those coaches trust him? Yes or no? Do you believe they trust him? Does anybody in here believe that? Okay? Okay? Because I'm going to ask that on the other side. I think you guys are right. Because I was just going to go here and do this. Do you think Jalen trusts the coaches in the OC? I don't. Does anybody believe Jalen trusts them? Remember something, and this is a great take. Remember something when Nick was in charge of the OC, of the offense. He was terrible. He was like 2-4 or like 2-3. 2-4, I think he was. He was fucking terrible. Then Steichen took it over. I wouldn't use the word rogue. I would say quarterbacks aren't rogue in their own system. Maybe Jalen's just had enough with listening to the conservative play calling and said, fuck that, we're not going here. When they look at the film and see Jalen missing the same throws every game, how could they trust him? Correct? Jalen's not going to put the ball in harm's way. He doesn't have the confidence to throw the ball across the middle of the field. He basically tells you that by protecting the football. Unless the thing's wide open, Hurts is not throwing the ball. I agree. I think this thing's a toxic relationship that they have going on. I think both sides despise one another. I think Hurts doesn't believe. And I think the problem that Nick and Kevin Patullo have is that the owner is on Hurts' side. Remember, Nick Sirianni almost lost his job twice. Once after 2003 and once after the first 4 games of last year. Hurts is in no jeopardy. That's why he can pretty much do what he wants, according to these reports. He knows. Nick's the one that's got to kiss the ass. He doesn't. This is exactly what I've said to you about your head coach. He's not a head coach. He doesn't have a job. And I know, like, Xander wants to give him some credit. It surely doesn't sound it. That the quarterback wants to give him credit. Does that sound like it to you? We need RPO back in our scheme. Fuck this, keep Jalen healthy and in the pocket. Hurts has no threat with his legs this year and is exposing our passing and running game. Oh, I completely agree. By the way, I said this, Mikey, at the beginning of the program. I think the fact that the tush push and the fact that their emphasis on running the ball is taking its toll on the entire unit. Barkley's not the same. The old line's banged up. Hurts doesn't run. You think there's any coin? Get this. Mikey, think about this for a second. Quarterback doesn't run. Barkley doesn't run the same. And all the old linemen are hurt from 2024. You think that's a coincidence? And they didn't hire a passing coordinator. They hired a guy or elevated a guy to run the ball more. With the unit that needs help in the passing game. What did they do to help the passing game this year? Nothing. They didn't hire a coordinator to help it. This is a fucking dumb take. Saving it. That's that bullshit. You see this? This is the shit, and this is the bullshit this guy said. Well, we didn't really have to throw the ball last year because we had such a great run game, so we were saving it. Hey, by the way, dude, your passing game fucking sucked last year, and it sucks this year. Follow the money to know where Laurie is at. That's right. He's on Hurts' side. That's why he went with AJ. I think Hurts and AJ and Devontae and everyone else are all on the same page. By the way, this is all coming out. And now Gary Cobb even said it. More to come. Camelot is being exposed. Camelot is coming apart. How you doing? Right? I disagree. I think Laurie is on AJ. Oh, I said that. I think Laurie's on AJ, and I think he's on AJ's side. I'm starting to, but Hurts is also, I think, on AJ's side. I think they want to throw the football. And that's why they went rogue. That's why they went off script last week. Listen. I think what they're asking for and Hurts is asking for are two different things. AJ wants to have more creative passing, and he wants to be involved more in the game. Hurts wants to have more passing attempts that are going to be more strategically done to be able to move the sticks and have more balance. I think it's a fine line between the both. I don't think Nick wants any of it. This is what Nick's offense is. 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass, go routes, 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass, 5-yard pass, nothing across the middle. And AJ's getting bored. That's why that loaf play. Look, receivers, dude, Jalen Carter takes plays off. Okay? In the war of attrition, I really hope the defense stays healthy because if not, the Eagles are done. Well, you've already lost a guy for almost the rest of the year in Lane Johnson. 4-6. Think about this, too, with 4-6. 4-6 with a lower body injury. What kind of conditioning you think he's going to be doing with a foot injury? None, to say the least. He might be able to do some pull work. Okay? But to say you'll be in football shape as you get closer to the playoffs, that's going to be a tough putt. Cam Jurgens has been brutal this year. He's been terrible. And he can't finish games. And by the way, if you're the Eagles and you knew that he was coming off IR and you stuck his ass out there anyway, and you thought there was a shot that he might not be able to play the rest of the game or he'd come out, why wouldn't you just rest him a little more? You won the game without him anyway. They ran the same fourth down play numerous times, like the one in Green Bay. They ran it against Washington in the NFC title game. Difference is that they had a run game then. Philly sports media broke Carson Wentz, and now they're trying to do the same to Hurts. I don't think anybody's against Hurts here. Jalen is a limited quarterback in the pocket. You want to watch a quarterback play, carry a football team? The guy's in Buffalo. That's a quarterback. 2 main wide receivers out. Guy goes for 6 touchdowns. 6 TDs. 357 yards in total offense. Reigning MVP. With nothing. They ran the ball for 70 yards in that game. It was all him. And he gave them 2 turnovers. And they still fucking won with him. When Hurts says that's a KP question, it tells me he can't stand this offense. Absolutely. The approach and the mentality of it. It goes back to what he said when they pulled back on about KP after knowing he was the next hire OC. Absolutely true. No doubt about it. By the way, what a horrible offensive output these last 2 games. Holy God, what a shit show. Just a shit show. Where have he carried them? Well, it'd be great. Once again, they don't have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They don't have all these great players around him. They have nobody. You think everything is equal in every organization. You would say that what has Burrow done and not put in context, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. That's not an excuse. Those are facts. Some people are in great organizations with great GMs, and some aren't. Are you under the impression that's like saying that Jalen Phillips is a better player than Myles Garrett, who's on a shitty football team? So get this. See this here? It's an excuse for Myles Garrett being on a football team in Cleveland on why he can't carry his team to a football championship. It's a dumb take. Good players and Hall of Fame players are on shitty teams too. Look at the Hall of Fame. Look at Warren Moon. Look at Dan Marino. Some players aren't in good places. Happens. This is how you get paid. You don't get paid on winning Super Bowls. You get paid on your accomplishments and what kind of talent you are. Tons of players, Hall of Fame players, have never won it all. Why? Because they were bad organizations. But you try telling an Eagle fan that. Well, this guy here hasn't carried his team. No shit. Now, I will give you Baltimore, and I agree with Baltimore. Lamar Jackson's had really good talent around him. I think it's really like philosophical approach when they get to the playoffs that hurts them. Hurts doesn't like the game plan because it's based on exposing his limitations. What gets me, though, Sean, you see what Sean's saying here? Hurts doesn't like the game plan because it exposes limitations. He doesn't want to face the fact he's limited. I don't believe that. I think that Jalen Hurts knows his limitations. I don't think the coaches like the limitations, and that's why they hire these fucking nobody wide offensive coordinators. Brian Johnson Brian Johnson and now Kevin Patullo. What makes Kevin Patullo qualified? What makes him qualified to be that and have that job? He's friends with Nick? Honestly, what were his qualifications? He was in the room? He's been on the staff? What's his qualifications? Tell me what his qualifications are to be the head guy when it comes to calling plays. We haven't had a spectacular balanced offense since Shane, correct? Why is it so hard for Nick to set aside his ego and pride? We can't keep doing this yearly. I'll tell you what's going to happen, Devontae, and I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to leave a couple Super Bowls on the table here with this. You're going to leave, like, Xander goes like this to me. All those wins this year, if you don't win it, this will be a massive disaster, worse than 23. Do you guys agree? Do you agree? If they don't win it this year, this will be a massive disaster. I agree. It's Super Bowl or bust. You got all these wins. You got all of the resume. And I agree with you. If this was college football, you'd be the number one team in the country because of the people that you've beaten. You don't win it with this horrible offense, a colossal disaster. And a disaster. I'll tell you one thing Howie did. Howie, and I said this morning on my Tampa morning show, Jason Light did nothing to help the Bucs. I think the Bucs are going to get caught by Carolina. Reddick has been a disaster. And right now, I mean, they gave up 6 touchdowns and 44 points and ran the ball for 200 yards. And they got crushed in the end by the Bills. He did nothing on the trading deadline. Howie pivoted. I need an edge rusher. Azeez Ojulari, and as much as Uche's been okay, they need more. And they went and they got a third, and they used their third rounder, not the Jets' third rounder, which is going to be a high pick in the third round, to steal Jalen Phillips from the Dolphins. Steal. Some GMs they pivot. You know, Howie's brilliant at doing this. 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, and 7s. They're all negotiable. In season, trading deadline, near the draft. Every one of those. You know, 2 years ago, remember when he was trading down? Do you remember when he kept trading down with all those 5s in the draft? I'm in a hotel room in Arizona, and I'm watching this, right? He's just trading down for future 5s. Just trading down. I'm like, why is he fucking trading all these picks Sure enough, I got it now. When he needs to make an in-season move, he takes those 4s and 5s and those 6s and 7s, and he moves around and he maneuvers around to bring players in if he's got to make an in-season move. It's brilliant. I've never seen a guy use later round picks as trading chips like how he has. The only other guy that I've seen that does that was Jimmy Johnson. And if he sees a guy, here's a 4 and a 5, or here's a 5 and a 6. And like I said, the 3rd round pick, that's a pretty big pick for him. Phillips had to be the guy. I'm telling you flat out, 3 people were involved in this decision on Jalen Phillips going to the Eagles. Do you know who they are? The 3 people that were involved with Jalen Phillips going to the Eagles. Do you know who they were? Any idea? It was Rosenhaus, it was Clint Hurt, and it was Vic, because they know the player. And Clint Hurt is friends with Manny Diaz and with Coach Rick, who Phillips played for. And they talked to Manny, they talked to Mark Rick, they talked to Clint Hurt, they talked to the D-line coach, they talked to Robert Bailey, and they talked to Drew Rosenhaus. Chris Greer was the only guy that didn't. Now you see why Chris Greer didn't want to deal him. He's like, no. But he might become the next head football coach at Penn State. I would think Joe Brady's going to be in that conversation as well. Jalen knows he has limitations. Yeah, I do. Every player has limitations, but these play callers are unbelievably bad. Right. Look at this. Why would you want me? Here, every player knows that, Surgical. Let me give you a point here. When I got to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I've said this to some of you in here, so the coaches came to me and they go, when you play the nose or you play a 2-gap, you've got to keep your hands and you've got to keep that guy making sure that old lineman doesn't get up on the linebackers so the linebackers can make plays. And I went like this. So I'm not supposed to make any plays? No, what you're supposed to do is get front side and have everything come back inside to traffic so that linebackers and the opposing guys can – it's like you were supposed to wall everything off. And I went like this. Well, I came from a penetrating defensive front. The reason that Jimmy Johnson's defenses were so iconic and how great they were was because we got penetration. We got in the backfield. We created havoc back there. We created a second line of scrimmage. That's what Jimmy always wanted, was us to be able to create havoc, knock guards off their routes on getting up onto the next level. I got to the Bucs. I was like, Rich McKay came on this program, the president of the Atlanta Falcons, and said, we drafted Sileo and we gave him bad coaching. It's the first time that was ever admitted. Is that they asked me to do shit I'd never played nose in my life. I was a 1-gap technique. That's exactly what Jalen Hurts is talking about. Why in the world would you want me to do something that I'm not good at? That's why Jalen's looking at those guys going like this. Why would I do that? That's like turning the football. You're asking me to turn the football over. Hey, Yale, I think fans don't get it. If you don't have really good coaching around you, Tom Brady brought this point up, did he not? What are they teaching him? I think the Eagle coaches are teaching Jalen Hurts nothing. I think they're hurting him. It's funny how people don't realize that every Super Bowl winner's face the following season, just incredible. Yeah. By the way, I do think you have a great resume. I think the Rams are playing better, but you have a better resume. I do. It's funny. Every time and by the way, I bring up the Broncos just to fucking kind of throw a wrench in your stupid take. Well, we're better than the Rams. We beat them. Okay, well, that means you believe the Broncos are better than you because they beat both the Chiefs and you. Two teams that were in the Super Bowl. They've beaten. They're not better than us. I know. That metric only works for you. At some point, a change has to be made. How can you continue to see your offense like this for years and not make a change? Either they have to take away the play calling from the OC or they need to bench Hurts. They're not benching Hurts. Get this. Sil said last week, we're better than the Eagles last week. Sil said the Broncos were better than the Eagles last week. Well, they beat you. If you're saying you're better than the Rams, the Broncos are better than you. And they beat the Chiefs too. Isn't that your metric? Well, we're better than the Rams. Senor, pick one. Or do you just use it when it fits your narrative? What? I know that was Senor's take. Bro, if you think I remember anything you said, you're high. No legitimate franchise is making changes this drastic. If you continue to win, no matter how it looks, correct. You're dead on. Here's where do you think this defense really ranks? Let me take a look at this. You'll be improved in ranking-wise this week for sure after that performance. Let's see. You're not better than the Broncos defense. I don't believe you're better than the Texans defense. I think you're better than the Chargers. Packers had a good night Monday night. Lions had a good night Sunday night. Patriots are 8th. I think you're better than the Falcons. Right now, you're 18th. If no injuries, I think you could be ranked in the top or bottom of the top 10. 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. You're not the best unit in football. That's for damn sure. Not yet. Okay? But you're climbing. Right now, I think this year, your top end. I think you could be better than the Chiefs, who are 6. Somewhere in there. She says, what do you think about James Cook and Shakir for Buffalo? I think they're good players. I like both. Cook can play. They didn't do a very good job against the Bucs. They only had 74 yards rushing in that game against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had 200 yards rushing. every team is so damn good until they play the Eagles defense. Well, that's actually not been true, except for the last 2 games. I thought the Rams went up and down the field on you. The Broncos came back on you. Now, there's a new face in the room. We'll see. As a matter of fact, I mean, it really hasn't changed except for this past week. Green Bay and Detroit. Prior to that, you gave a ton of yards up. And you gave up points. I mean, you didn't blow anybody out. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You got blown out by the Giants, and you blew the Giants out. Congrats. You split with New York. Okay? I guess. Here, get this. Denver isn't a threat, but they beat Kansas City and you. Okay. Your offense is no threat. It's the worst in pro football. By the way, where do I think your offense will be? By the end of the year, your offense will probably be in the 30s. Your defense will probably be somewhere in the top 10. Your offense will be in the 30s. The 30s. Only year we didn't have a dominant pass rush of 23. I wouldn't call 2 games a dominant pass rush. I'd hang in there. Great beginning. It was a great week. That's the best week since a year ago for your defense. Absolutely true. Does everyone forget we went how many games giving up more yards than we gained? Well, you did it again in this game against Detroit. As bad as Detroit's offense was, they outgained you again. So 30th offense, 10th ranked defense, and a 14-3 record and a first round bye. Sign me the fuck up. Okay? Well, we'll see. 14-3 without Lane Johnson and Cam. Good luck. We'll find out. You're not going to have Cam the rest of the season, most likely. How many games are left? What do you got? How many games? You got 7 games? 4 to 6 weeks? He'll be back in the final week of the season. Good luck. Want to see it. Okay? We'll see. No Lane. You're 13-24 without Lane. All right. We shall see. Don't lose anybody else. There you go, baby. It's Mad Tooth season. Yes, sirree. Okay, even if they lose, two more, they have the tiebreaker against them all. Why? What do you mean? The Rams will have a better record than you. I don't think the Rams are going to lose a lot more games either. You won't have any tiebreaker. First goes record. Okay? If they have a better record than you, they're going to home field advantage. If they finish the season 14-3 and you lose 2 more, you won't have home field. The Rams will. I mean, right? Be 13-4. They'll be 14-3. They have home field. Because Seattle lost to the Rams. Eagles, again, it first goes best win-loss record. Then it does go conference, then division. And then the point differential, if I'm not mistaken, those are your tiebreakers. And that's what we started the show off with. The move to get Fred Johnson has become one of the biggest acquisitions at this point. Absolutely true. That could turn out to be one of your biggest moves. Okay? 15-2 with the worst offense in pro football. Wow. I can't wait to see you do it. This will be a better story than a year ago. The shittiest offense in pro football wins the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. What a story. You'll be able to add that to Ray Didinger's book. A team that got outgained all year, and the quarterback stinks in the pocket throwing the ball, and they win the Super Bowl. Be amazing. It'd be one of the greatest wins of all time. The shittiest offense. Absolutely. Head-to-head tiebreaker, 1-loss record. Whoever wins more games will host home field. This guy's trying to tell me if they have head-to-head and they're 10-7, they host home field even though the team is 14-2. Yeah, okay. Where'd you get that from? Let me guess. M. Reyes' handbook of how to be dumb. The defense has to be lights out every game from here on out if that happens. D. Reddick, you are so good, man. I happen to agree with this, man. Jared Goff was seeing ghosts, bro. No doubt. The Bucs will be Sunday night. I think they blow the Bucs out. And, hey, you got to win games too, guy, with that shitty offense. I wouldn't count my games before they hatch here. Hang in there. You're going to lose 2 really good players here for the next couple games between Juergens and Lane. That's going to be a factor. I know it's us, but we're man-tooth and Frank Johnson. Frank or Fran? What is it? What's his name? Kevin? He's going to be in there for Lane. No drop-off. Fred. That's it, Fred. I actually like Fred. I'm good with Fred. I got to pay some bills here. Hey, folks, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It is because they win. Make no mistake about it. If you're ever hurt at work, on the job, anything, Morgan & Morgan will take your case. Trust me when I tell you, for over 25 years, this company has been defending families and people like you for a reason. They don't get paid unless you win. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason the flappy, flaily, inflatable tube man dominated the dance-off.
Throw the money in the air. Throw the money in the air. Make it rain, count it up, put it there.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
What a week. Oh, by the way, it's Cowboy Week. Okay? Cowboy Week. Michael Irvin's going to join us this week, and also Jimmy Johnson. So it'll be Cowboy Week. Oh, and Battle Royale. Tomorrow, Coach will be on with us. Coach Brown. We're also going to get Angelo Cataldi. Bobo Patullo. That's going to be great. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Big Z, Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Hit that like button, and we'll see you on the flip side.